Good morning, everybody, and good morning, Snowy Demon. Yeah, I bet this is a more convenient time to be streaming in your time zone. Welcome, everybody, to a very different little stream here today. Yeah, I know it's a morning stream. Very weird, very odd, not to mention on a Wednesday. No, it's 1:30 a.m. for me. I guess that means in order to be convenient for you, I gotta stream at like midnight for me. Midnight onward. 8 hours earlier. But welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing okay. How's your weekend / week been going? Actually, you know what? How's your summer been going? Let's start there. How's your summer been going so far? We're gonna be watching the State of Unreal stream. It's been a while since I've really talked about or done any kind of game dev stuff on stream, 3D modeling or otherwise, but that is a big part of what I support, so I'm hoping to watch this and get some insight. Nah, I try to catch you when I can. I've noticed and I appreciate it. It's been okay. Been sick the last week. No! Is it just like allergies or are you like sick? I hope you're feeling better. But my week's been going pretty good, and my summer's been going pretty good. I've had the week off, which has given me the chance to catch up on some work that I've been putting off for this channel. I mean, sick. It's kicking your ass hard. I'm sorry. I hope you get better soon. I really do. I will say, right before summer started, I had to do some traveling, so I got sick, like really bad sick. Nothing helped. No amount of Dayquil or Sudafed or anything would help. So I feel ya. I'm sorry you're going through it. Just remember to take it easy, get yourself plenty of rest, eat lots of food, get some fresh air. It's so bad, I hate it. Sorry. I wish I could just, you know, I wish I could just make that better. Unfortunately, I'm kind of on the other side of the world here. Not much I can really do to help you out. But yeah, we're gonna be. Hopefully, you'll be able to take it a little easy. And if you gotta go, if you gotta get some sleep, from your medicine or otherwise, because I know a lot of cold medicine really knocks you out. So if you gotta take off and go to sleep, feel free. But thank you for stopping by. But if you're gonna stick around, we're gonna be watching the State of Unreal stream, where they're gonna be talking about the big updates in the next year or two, Unreal Engine, particularly probably Unreal Engine 6, which I think is what everybody is looking forward to, at least from what I can see. Everybody's looking forward to. I mean, there's only 3 free engines available for game developers. There's Godot, there's Unity, and then there's Unreal Engine. Now, Godot and Unity have kind of pulled ahead recently in the true indie scene, but Unreal Engine has a big chance here to give themselves a massive opportunity. There's a lot of community feedback that they've been gathering, and I hope that they're looking to implement that in Unreal Engine 6. It's kind of hard to implement the things people are asking for in 5. It would take a whole new engine in order to do it. Like one of the things people are asking for, since a lot of multiplayer games have been coming out with Unreal Engine 5, a lot of people have been asking for built-in multiplayer support. That would take a new engine, so Unreal Engine 6, really. Another one is optimization. Even lightweight games, if you've never played an Unreal Engine game, you'll sit there and it's going to be compiling shaders and it's going to be loading forever. Even a lightweight game like a roguelike that just has one level and just a bunch of enemies coming at you over and over and over, it can be pretty hefty on your PC. Unreal Engine is not very well optimized, especially graphically, even if they're simple graphics. So a lot of things people have been asking for are optimization with the shaders and the terrain tools. Yeah, you get it. You've played some Unreal Engine games. Because not everybody who uses Unreal wants to build these hyper-realistic environments, although it is very useful for that. But that's kind of the problem is, if you're the person building a a realistic environment or a stylistic realized environment, your optimization, the heft on the PC is probably going to be about the same as somebody who builds like a low poly environment. And it's just the way Unreal Engine processes those graphics and those shaders. But Unreal Engine 5 did get a little bit of optimization updates, but not a lot. So a lot of people are hoping that'll come in this one. But yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of multiplayer games coming out of Unreal Engine. Like I think Arc Raiders is in Unreal Engine 5. The new Invincible fighting game is in Unreal Engine 5. What other multiplayer games are in there? There's a lot of multiplayer games that have been built out of it, but it's not natively built into the engine. People have to develop their own multiplayer system. It's not really supported. So hopefully that's a big thing that'll come out of this, because if they can do that, that would be massive. Even if all it supports, well, here's the thing. Unreal Engine does natively support couch co-op. So technically, with Steam Remote Play, technically, if you make a couch co-op game out of Unreal Engine, you can then use Steam Remote Play for free. And therefore you have a multiplayer game online. But Remote Play is not the best. There's a lot of latency in Steam Remote Play. So yeah, you know what I'm gonna do? Hang on, I'm gonna switch over here. So they got the State of Unreal playing here, but I'm gonna go ahead and just move myself here in the center, because they got a trailer playing. Actually, you know what? I'll keep myself a little off to the side so y'all can see. But yeah, they haven't started the broadcast yet. They're just playing trailers for different games built out of Unreal. But you can just see the number of things people make. But a lot of them are these hyper realistic environments, but then you got some stylized ones and they're just not that optimized. So that's a big thing people are hoping for. It's just some optimization there. Especially since, like this one, people are looking to build anime games out of Unreal Engine because the shaders are really nice. The shaders are really nice. Look at that. That's an anime game, by the way. If they could do some optimizations, it'll be an incredible next step, I think. Also, I apologize to anybody who's watching the vertical of this stream. I am not set up for it to be broadcasting, and I feel it's a little late for me to try and do that now, so I'm not gonna even bother. I don't even know if anybody watches the vertical. I don't see the stats. I can't tell how many people watch vertical versus horizontal. But I'm ultimately thinking it's probably not worth it. I'm probably gonna stop streaming vertical. I think I'm gonna stop. I don't know, Snowy, do you watch the vertical stream when I do this? Do you like vertical streaming? Is that a thing you like? Or are you sitting here watching the horizontal stream? Because everybody that I've talked to, not really, yeah. Everybody that I've talked to in my chat, like, they know it exists. They know I'm dual streaming in a vertical format, but nobody's watching it, to my knowledge. And I've got entire streams where I've been like, oh, fuck, I forgot to turn the gameplay on the vertical. And I look over And I'm like, oh yeah, I've been streaming for 4 hours. Nobody said anything about it. And the chat's active, so that means nobody's watching it. So I don't know. I don't know if it's that great. And I know for a fact when I did vertical streaming on the YouTube side, all I got were a bunch of children. So I think that's probably the only people who watch vertical streams are like people 13 and younger, I think. Maybe 14 and younger. I don't think anybody older than that does it. I think we all appreciate the horizontal aspect ratio. Getting to see ourselves in HD. So I think I'm gonna stop multi or dual streaming into that format. I don't think it's worth it. It's really not. Okay, they're showing a lot of like low poly stylized games for some reason. But here's the thing, I can see the jittering from the shaders in those games. I don't know if they really want to showcase that. Ah, see, there we go. Now we're getting some games that are... Okay, nope, we're back to the low poly stylized. Yeah, did you see on that last one how it was basically trying to load like extra frames where none existed? It looked very jittery and... I don't know. Some of these low poly games operating out of Unreal, they're just not meant to have all those different shaders and everything active. They're really just not. They're not meant for that. They're not built for it. They're built different. Let's see something like this, which is a combination of some realism because of the trees and the environment. This is probably fine. Also, I noticed that all the characters have a low frame rate. That's actually really cool. I like that. It's like a forced stuttering frame rate. Or is it a forced keyframe system? I don't know. I don't even know what this game is. I didn't look at the title. Oh shit, well, I'm already sold. You get to rock out the car? Okay. Oh my god, are they racing downhill in a shopping cart? Okay, I might be sold on this game. What is it? What's the title of this one? Okay, never mind then. I guess we don't get to find out. Yeah, you don't get to know what that game is. How dare you? I guess now they're... Yeah, I guess people do use Unreal Engine for animation, but I don't think it's as common as people who use it for games. Oh, this is a game. I thought it was somebody making a movie animation out of it. Interesting. Okay. This sounds like a lot of work making puppet animations for a game. I would rather just make 3D models that looked like puppets. That'd probably be a better use of your time. I don't know. Maybe I'm a little biased there. Just a little biased. I just don't know if that's necessarily worth the effort. I mean, I don't know. Unreal Engine... It's a weird spot in comparison to its competitors, Godot and Unity. It's in a weird spot, you know, because the engine itself, it's not really made for little Joe Schmo making a game all by themselves. Stream is laggy? Let me see. Oh yeah, sure enough, I am dropping frames on the network. It might be because of this. Yeah, it's literally because I'm watching this live stream. Let me turn this down. I don't need a super high quality thing. See if that helps a little bit. Yeah, that helped. I think it was automatically like streaming it in 2K, which I don't need. I really don't need that. Thank you for letting me know. But yeah, look at all these shader tools and all these different pipelines. This is a lot of stuff that your indie Joe Schmo guy doesn't really need. But it is good for indie studios with like a few people who you know, who just maybe need that little bit of extra heft in their tool set. But it's also really good for people who don't know how to code, because they don't use a scripting or coding system. It is a blueprint system, which means you literally just take box says character input, and then you connect that box to another box that designates the action. So essentially your program, when you're done, ends up looking like just a bunch of interconnected boxes and graphs. That's all it is. It's a blueprint system. So if you've never coded or programmed before, like me, I don't do that. I don't really do that. Then it's a really good engine, because nobody really has to know. Now, you still need actual developers and designers, because if there is a problem, they need to be able to fix it. They need to be able to go into the code and fix it. And also, they're going to know how best to fix it even without throwing new code at it. Just knowing what box fixes what issue best. So it's still a little complicated, but it's a lot easier for people who have never touched code before to hop right into the engine and start making stuff. So I've never seen these. They're showing a lot of animation scenes here, but I've never seen any of these before. I saw that one said Unreal Tournament episode. The Witcher 4 cinematic reveal. So these are just animations then, I guess, is what they're showcasing here. People who only animate in Unreal rather than make games. Which, I mean, that is a niche. I was talking about that earlier. That is a little bit of a niche for people. I know there is a how would you say, a subset of people who use the engine purely for its rendering capabilities. Oh, that's right. Marvel Rivals is built in Unreal Engine, isn't it? I completely fucking forgot about that. Holy shit. I can't believe I forgot about that. One of the most popular hero shooters ever built out of Unreal Engine. Completely fucking forgot. And that's some pretty good multiplayer. However, if you've ever played Marvel Rivals, you know that starting the game up takes for fucking ever because it's got to compile everything. That's just a limitation of the engine. I didn't know Sonic Racing was built out of it. Subnautica I knew was built out of it. But yeah, the reason this is important. Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah, me neither. I kind of forgot. The reason Unreal Engine 6 is going to be important is because for the past like 20 years of video game development, everybody kind of just has their own engine, right? So that has always been the standard. You make your own engine for your company. In the past 10 years or so, though, companies have been looking at more standardized options. EA, for example, built the Frostbite engine with DICE specifically so that they could share it with all of the other EA studios, and then all of them could communicate together and say, hey, you want to use this trick? I know how to do it. Here's how to fix this. Here's that. And they have a team working on it 24/7. That was the idea. A standardized engine between all EA studios. That's kind of why they forced BioWare to use the Frostbite engine for Dragon Age Origin, or Dragon Age Inquisition back in the day. They were trying to force it, even though Frostbite was not ready for an RPG to be built out of it yet. Oh, we're starting up. Oh, they're just putting the 5-minute timer up. Lame. They got me excited. I thought we were starting early. But with a lot of companies trying to standardize their engines, a lot of them have realized, you know what? These public engines are getting really high depth, like really intense. So why don't we just move to that? All they do is take a licensing fee if you're pro and you're making over a certain amount of money. So if that's the case, Epic is willing to fully fund Unreal Engine. We don't have to do it. We don't have to sit here and pay a developer, like a team of developers, to manage the engine and keep it running and keep it updated. They'll do it for us. So why don't we just, you know, why don't we just use the Unreal Engine instead? Or Unity. Or Godot. There's a lot of people who are now, a lot of big studios who are now looking at these engines and going, you know, maybe it's not such a bad idea to ditch our internal built-in engine that we put together and instead just go to this one. That way we don't even have to worry about it. So if they can pull off some big changes to Unreal Engine 6, that's really going to improve their standing in that department. And a lot of people are going to probably leave their internal engines and move to Unreal Engine. Also, the Oblivion remake was built in Unreal Engine. The Oblivion remake, remaster, whatever you want to call it, was built in Unreal Engine. That's why it looks so good. But again, that game is not well optimized. Even with my super PC here, I probably could not stream that game on the highest settings, because I got a lot going on. I got the VTuber model, and then I got multi-streaming, and then there's that on top of it. That's asking a lot. Also, I've gotten my YouTube alerts turned on my end on OBS. So thank you, Jaritza Flores, for the subscription. Thank you so much. Thank you. Welcome to the stream. My name is Deeja Vu. I am a 3D character artist, a VTuber video editor, and a voice actor for both genders. No AI, no fancy audio editing required. I usually switch between voices between streams, videos, and shorts. So if you're interested in my other voice, this one, you should check me out on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. Actually, sorry, I'm changing my schedule. I will be live on Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, Friday starting next week. Every day at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. But welcome to the stream. Welcome. I gotta figure out how to get Stream Elements to actually play YouTube alerts as well. I think I have to actually somehow connect it to my YouTube channel. All right, looks like we are starting up here. Let me make sure that this is actually capturing the audio. I'll turn it up a little bit. There we go. That's better. I love that voice so much. Oh, you do, huh? Well, it's good because I love hearing it too. I love hearing it over and over and over when I record. I love hearing my pre-stream and pre-recording matchas. Peter packed a pickle pack of pickled peppers. Peter Piper picked a pack of pickled peppers. I say the same things over and over and over for like 30 minutes to lock in a voice. You know, lock it in. So that I know what it sounds like in my own head. And so anytime I'm like recording, I have like a pre-record session where I kind of listen to it real quick just to make sure I'm doing it correctly. And I gotta listen to that over and over and over. I do sometimes just like Google some mantras to say to myself, some like positive affirmations, and say those instead. But yeah, I gotta listen to it so many times before I even hit stream or record. All right, we starting, or are you just playing more trailers? Oh, geez, I think they're gonna play more trailers. Oh, wait, no, I think we're actually starting. I mean, this looks very cool, but I can tell a lot of it's pre-rendered. Show me some games. Show me some real games. I don't want cutscenes. Was that a Fortnite cutscene? Is that what I just saw with Homer Simpson? Is that what that was? I don't know if that's like, I get it. Like, Fortnite is their
Hi
test
everyone, welcome
engine
to Unreal
for
Fest. Are you ready?
engine.
Let's go. Thank you so much for joining us here in Chicago, and thanks to everyone watching on the live stream. Once again, we're joined by luminaries from AAA game studios, indie teams, Fortnite creators, and filmmakers who are all shaping the future of entertainment. And we've got innovators from robotics, architecture,
Clear Expedition 33 was
and
also
so many
built
more
in Unreal
industries
Engine.
who are taking the power of Unreal to new frontiers. There are over 100 sessions and hands-on labs to choose from. So if you don't have the event app yet, take a quick snap of this QR code, download it, and build your plan for the next 2 days. Be sure to check out all the demos and games on the expo floor. Swing by the Learning Theater along with the Dev Lounge, where you can get some technical help from our team.
I can't do that, bud, because I'm not there.
And give you a glimpse of where we're headed in the future. We have a lot of great stuff to show, but just a heads up, we're not doing a live tech demo on stage this year. The team's been really hard at work making an awesome new engine release and building the foundation of Unreal Engine 6, which you'll hear more about later. Before we get into what's new, we want to give a shout out to a few groundbreaking projects. Last year, just before Unreal Fest, Sandfall Interactive released Claire Obscure Expedition 33.
Hell yeah, they did.
Give it up. Which became the breakout hit of 2025. And now, a year later, the game has received over 500 awards, the most awarded game in history. Congratulations to the team for all of your achievements, and we can't wait to see what's next. Arc Raiders is another huge success story. From October to February, the extraction shooter sold more than 14 million copies.
Was that a left-hand shooting mode?
Embark built the
Raiders
game's massive open world, leveraging UE5 and Epic Online Services voice chat capabilities to give millions
the
of players an awesome social experience at a peak scale of 960,000 concurrent users.
That's a setting?
K-pop Demon Hunters was the most watched movie in Netflix history, winning 2 Academy Awards, a landmark moment for the animation industry.
You're telling me that was animated
Sony
in
Pictures
Unreal?
Animation and ImageWorks transformed their pipeline by moving to real-time previs and layout, using Unreal Engine to cut production time by an estimated 25%. That's months of work saved. And because the team used real-time ready assets in production, we were able to pull off a Fortnite collab in record time. This was a full ecosystem moment that kicked off with a Demon Rush limited time mode, and it continued across Blitz, Reload, and Zero Build with cosmetics in the item shop. We did all of this.
Yeah, that is insane. I didn't know that it was built in Unreal, but that does explain how fast that collab happened.
Unreal continues to gain momentum beyond entertainment.
It was already in the engine.
SAS is an enterprise leader in enterprise analytics, AI, and data management. They're developing incredibly complex Unreal Engine digital twin simulations across industrial manufacturing, worker safety, life sciences, and other industries. Now, these digital twins help businesses make operational decisions in simulation before a single machine moves, a single worker is put at risk, or a single dollar is spent on the wrong configuration. All of this, games, animation, and enterprise solutions built on Unreal Engine 5.
Okay, so y'all are really going for the whole package here.
Since then, release by release, we've shipped many features required to deliver stunning, high-fidelity open worlds running at 60 frames per second. We've also been working to unlock real workflow improvements so you can create faster and more efficiently. Nanite minimized manual LOD pipelines.
Yep.
Lumen nearly eliminated light baking. MetaHuman reduced the time to make great-looking characters from months to days to even minutes. Sequencer and Control Rig made it possible to animate really complex character performances in Engine without leaving the editor. World Partition made streaming massive open worlds possible without leaning on critical engineering resources. It's hard to believe it's been 6 years since the launch of UE5, but it's inspiring to see what you've done.
Oh yeah, it has been 6 years.
To share what's in our latest release, please welcome mon ami, Simon Tourangeau.
Thanks, Bill. Good morning. It's great to be back to share the latest on Unreal Engine. Over the last few releases, the feedback we've heard most from studios is make it fast, make it stable. So we've been focused on exactly that, performance.
Okay.
Take 5.7. We improved performance by up to 25% on the GPU and up to 35% on the CPU, giving you smoother frame rates. Today, we're releasing Unreal Engine 5.8, which is all about building on that momentum to give you more headroom, fewer hitches, and less friction between an idea and what you can actually ship. A big part of 5.8 is maturity. Systems that were experimental or beta in previous releases are now crossing the line into production readiness. The headliner is megalights. Thousands of dynamic shadow casting lights and area lights in a scene at a fixed cost. What used to be a performance lift becomes a creative tool. Artists can light with fewer compromises, and teams can spend less time budgeting every dynamic light. Around it, LiveLink Hub, Movie Render Graph, Chaos Cloud authoring through data flow, Audio Insights, and Iris are production ready too. We also made it simpler to scale to the different platforms. Lumen, our dynamic global illumination system, now has a lightweight mode called Lumen Light, designed to preserve much of the visual impact at a significantly lower GPU cost. That makes Lumen viable where it wasn't before, including on Switch 2. And that work is already helping drive further nanite optimization efforts for the platform.
What's the cost of the visuals, though?
Let's talk about something every developer in this room has felt.
Because otherwise, why wouldn't I just... Yep.
Yeah, the hitch, the frame spike, the long shader compile. The moment your game pauses and you wonder where all that time went. A huge part of that problem is shaders. So we've sharpened the compiler and improved deduplication to strip out redundant work. Less to compile, less to load, less getting in your way. In Fortnite, that work combined with content changes contributed to a 68% reduction in shader count. Faster cooks, faster loads, lighter memory. Jason and John's talk tomorrow goes deep on how they got there. But shaders are only half the story. The other half is pipeline state objects, or PSOs. A PSO is the bundle the GPU needs to draw an effect. Shaders, blend modes, render state, all of it. Miss one at runtime, and the driver has to assemble and compile it on the spot. That's your hitch. And those are the bugs that are notoriously hard to hunt. Luckily, we have just the guy to do it. So in 5.8, we've improved PSO pre-caching. Fallback rendering is far less visible while PSOs are still compiling. And the whole system is easier to tune, debug, and profile. These are not flashy changes, but if you've been chasing itches, you'll feel the difference the first time you boot.
So is it
And we're
actually
not
going
done.
to locate
We're working
bugs,
with
or is
Microsoft
it just
and hardware partners on advanced shader delivery, a DirectX 12 initiative that allows us to ship pre-compiled shaders to players, moving more shader work out of the player's runtime experience. The rollout is ramping, and we'll let you know more about this soon. Now, here's a brand new experimental feature.
Well, that would
we're
solve a
shipping in
lot of your
5.8.
issues right there.
Mesh terrain. We wanted to move beyond the limits of height map-based landscapes where every point can only move in one direction, and the fixed grid means you can't adjust the resolution to add detail or optimize areas. Mesh terrain is a new way to alter complex terrain without being locked to a height field. And it's more than just a mesh. It's partitioned for collaborative
unoptimized.
workflows, supports world partition streaming, and is designed to scale across platforms using the same source assets while tuning the runtime representation for each platform using Nanite when available. With mesh terrain, you have full 3D manipulation capabilities. Overhangs, tunnels, floating islands, shapes you simply couldn't build before. And because it's mesh-based, you can also control tessellation at the triangle level. That means adding detail exactly where it matters while saving memory and performance where it doesn't.
Oh, I didn't know they added that.
As you'd expect, you
Unless
can
he's
paint
talking about the
material
update that they're
layers,
doing now.
but also additional attributes, and it supports virtual texture with automatic UV generation.
Yeah, that was part of my main complaint with
Mesh
it. is that
terrain
you couldn't
uses
decimate
non-destructive
anything.
modifiers and procedural tooling, so
Granted, that was a
iteration
while
becomes
ago.
dramatically easier. Everything can be layered, reordered, combined, and adjusted at any point in time. So you can literally move mountains. It also works natively with PCG and comes with an expanded modeling toolset. But best of all, in our ongoing Fortnite optimization efforts, mesh terrain has a smaller memory footprint and runs faster than landscape. Higher quality, lighter costs, more creative and technical freedom. That's mesh terrain. Another big focus of 5.8 is helping you go faster from idea to result. Performance capture has matured to scale from one operator at a desk to a full mocap stage with control over every recording device on set, including video. And we're taking that further.
Is this going into a MetaHuman
Earlier
update?
this year, Meshcapade joined Epic, bringing world-leading technology for markerless motion capture from video. We've already started integrating it into the ecosystem, and today
If
we
you're
are
unaware,
releasing the
MetaHuman
MetaHuman
is just
Animator
a
markerless motion capture plugin on
facial
SaaS.
and body
You can drive a character's body,
animation
face,
system.
and hands from regular
Similar
video.
to the AR kit, but
No suits, no markers.
it
video
works a
in,
lot better on Unreal.
Animation out. For
VTubers can't use
animators
it.
pursuing feature quality work, this is our most significant animation release yet. We've made high-end animation workflows more interactive, more intuitive, and more connected to the creative process. From sculpting directly on stylized rigs, to controls that live on the character itself, to a simplified timeline that
Direct
keeps
mesh
you focused on
controls
the
would actually
performance.
be huge.
These are the same tools our animation team uses every day, and now they're available to everyone, and we're releasing the sample with 5.8.
Oh, nice.
On the cinematic side, offline depth of field gets a major upgrade. We now render the blur the way a real camera makes it, by sampling the scene from multiple points across the lens. So you get physically accurate defocus, even on translucency and thin geometry.
That's good, because
For
it used to
productions
create
working
like
with
a
ultra-high resolution
like an
media,
echo
the new
effect
tiled
on the blur,
bitmap
so you would
video
get the same
format gives
object
you
multiple
compressed
times
video
and then blurred
that
that
holds
way.
up at scale.
But now it actually looks
It
blurred.
only decodes the tiles and MIP
Like a
level
real
your
object.
viewport actually needs, so you don't pay to process pixels no one is looking at. So that's the flyby. If any of this caught your ear, you can find deep dive sessions in the Unreal Fest app. And if 5.8 is about reducing friction across the engine, there's one more place we're starting to do that, how people interact with the editor itself. But
Okay.
tell you more, here's Michael. Thank you.
I don't know who any of these people are. I just know they're talking about some cool stuff. Welcome in, Crusader! Welcome, welcome. Welcome to a morning
Thanks, Simon.
stream. I'm gonna
Now, at
quiet him
times,
down for a bit.
Making games
Welcome
can be hard,
in.
expensive, and slow.
We are watching
With a
the
gap
State of
between what you can
Unreal
imagine and
broadcast
what
to
you
try
can
and
make
get
is
some
held back
insights
by
onto the
technical
updates to
overhead.
the Unreal Engine. Welcome
I don't
in.
know
How's your
about you,
morning
but
going?
spending hours in a node graph
Or I
trying
guess
to
for you it's
untangle and
daytime, so how's your
understand
day
what's
going?
on just to change one thing is not my idea of creativity.
He just went through a bunch of graphical
There has to be a
updates
better way
that
to
I'm
do
really
this.
excited about.
So that's what we've been working on.
So yeah, if
Tools
you've
that
never
enable
seen
you
it,
to
that
build
is what
faster
the
and iterate more.
programming editor in Unreal Engine looks like. It's
Now,
just a
Unreal
bunch
has
of
been built
boxes
on a
connected to
simple
each other.
idea.
It's
Your
rare. I get to see you
source,
at this time.
your
It's
pipeline,
10 to
your workflow.
10:15 p.m.
Give
Oh,
developers
so it's still PM
complete
for you.
control over the tools and get
Yeah,
out of the way.
it is rare to see me at this time. I'm
That
only
philosophy
streaming at
hasn't
this time
changed.
because of this
We're just
broadcast.
applying it
I wanted to do
to
a
large
watch along.
language models.
I've never done a watch along, and I figured this is a good chance
Now in
to
5.8,
try out that
we've
kind of content.
implemented an
You know?
MCP server
Never
that
done
acts as a bridge between Unreal and any model that you want. For this presentation, we're going to be using Claude Code, but you can use Gemini, your own custom model, whatever you want.
He's talking about AI coding.
Enabling the Unreal MCP is as simple as turning on the plugin, doing a bit of config.
Do you
and
really
connecting
need to
the
do that?
model
We
of
don't
your
need to
choice.
encourage vibe coders.
And
We don't
everything
need
you're
to
about
encourage
to see
them.
today
We
runs
really
on
don't.
that setup. Now, these are still early days, and models will still do some
Yeah,
really
I just finished a
unpredictable
12-hour
things.
shift, so it's real nice.
However, with this
God,
approach,
12s.
we
I
maintain
hate
the
that.
ability to
I'm
go in
so
and
sorry.
edit
I'm sorry you had to
as you
do
would
that.
any
12-hour
Unreal
shifts
scene.
suck.
Okay, let's see this in action.
But at least it's over.
On the left,
Do
we
you have
Unreal
more
Engine.
12-hour shifts to
On the
go,
right
or
is
I'm,
a terminal running Claude Code.
yeah, I'm
You can
gonna
see every message
turn him down if he's gonna be talking about Claude Code for a
Claude Code
bit.
is talking to Unreal
Um,
through the MCP
Do you have another
server,
12-hour shift,
reading
or
the
is
scene,
this
and
kind of a
taking
lone
actions
12-hour, and
directly
then you
inside the
gotta
engine?
go back to normal
So let's
shifts?
start with something small, a modern living room. We start by giving the model some context,
Ah.
what we want to build, and whereabouts in the level. And to make sure everyone can
I don't know
follow
why I
along,
didn't guess
we're showing
it.
a
Of
summarized version
course,
each
they're
prompt as we
building
go.
AI
But if you want the
into
full
Unreal
details,
Engine.
you can still see that
Of
in the
course they
terminal window.
fucking are.
We're gonna
Somebody's
speed
probably
things
paying
up
him a
from
lot of
here
money for that.
presentation purposes.
Anthropic's probably paying him a lot of money,
Everything you're
considering
seeing
he's using
is
Claude.
real work happening inside the engine.
I have an 8-hour shift tomorrow,
You
and
can
then a
ask for the
12-hour shift the
basics,
day
a
after, so they
sofa,
got you
a
switching
rug,
on and
and a
off
coffee
12-hour
table.
shifts?
Then fill it in with chairs, a lamp, and a
Yikes.
side table.
I hope you're getting
Semantic
plenty of
Search, which is
rest.
part of the 5.8 release, pulls assets from your library that fit that description. And because this is Unreal, we can also manually add a chair, describe it as a reading nook, and the model will furnish the room accordingly. Every step here is a creative decision that you're making. Models are good at broad iteration.
Is it? Because it looks like
You're
it's a
good at
creative
knowing
decision that
exactly
Claude's
what you want.
making.
Those same principles
I
work
did
when you're
ask for it.
furnishing a
Oh,
room.
you asked for it? Do you get
Whether you
like
wanna scale
overtime
up
pay or something for
and
it?
build an entire city. So let's take that same approach and build a city.
Fuck AI,
Start by
I
drawing the
swear to
boundary.
God.
From there, you can decide where the districts go.
Look, here's
and what
my thing.
characteristics each one has.
AI has the power to be used for
Highways go
good.
through on your
The
doorstep.
problem is it's not being used for good.
From those,
And how do you
road
know?
networks
Look at the
built.
people pushing for it.
Buildings come up.
It's not
The model
artists.
here is
It's
to
not the
commit
little
to
guy.
find the right
It's
assets from your library,
big
place them
corporate
in the
devil. They're the
Ask
ones
for a
pushing
forest
for
or a
AI.
and it
That's
can
how
build
you
that.
know it's being used for evil. It's not
Every
being used
step
by the good
you're making
guys.
a
The
call.
good guys are not pushing for
What
it.
you end up with, it's not a rendered image, it's real geometry, real procedural content generation graphs that you can open, edit, and modify.
Trust me, when Jeff Bezos
And this
wants
works for
AI,
any
it's
team.
not for your benefit. It's for
Other
his.
developers can work on their own sessions, building assets.
I get paid per hour as a locum nurse, so yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, you chase that nurse pay. You chase that nurse pay. Mass consumerism. Yes. Give me all your money and all your ideas. You will own nothing and be happy. Let the AI make all the decisions for you. Yes. I am evil.
And because it's open, you're not locked into any particular model or workflow. Now, while large language models are great at language and reasoning, they
Yeah.
don't naturally think spatially. Unreal does.
Yes.
To help connect the two, we're giving you over 80 foundational procedural content generation building blocks, a library of
Oh,
examples,
God.
and skills that
No.
encode specific Unreal workflows.
Can we
Now, this is
skip
experimental,
this?
And it's going to keep getting better.
I don't
This is
think
where you
anybody
come
in
in.
that room's excited
Tell
about
us
it.
what's working. Tell us what's not.
Yeah, look,
That's
see,
how we're gonna
somebody's
make this
getting up
better.
to leave. They don't want to be here for it.
Now that the city is built, we
I
want
mean,
to
this
light
is
it.
going to sound bad considering I'm
Getting
Asian, but
lighting right on
capitalism
Unreal
gone
is a skill that means
wild.
touching dozens
You're
of
not
parameters that all
wrong.
need to work
Capitalism left
together. Light
unchecked
balance,
is a
cloud
bad
materials, sky atmosphere, post-process. That's a lot to know.
thing.
But by creating a dedicated lighting skill, you just describe what you want, and the model orchestrates that all for
Look,
you.
I have had the displeasure of working with vibe coders before. This is not a good thing. Vibe coders are the worst because they don't know how to fix their own issues. So, like, let's say the AI creates an issue, creates a bug.
It misread the sky and tweaked the cloud material
You,
the wrong way.
as a vibe coder, a person who uses AI to code or
Correct it in
create
the next
things,
prompt,
they don't know how to
and be
fix
right
the
back where you
problem.
wanna be.
And so they're just left with
Because models
shitty
also have
code,
real-world
and then they
knowledge,
throw it onto somebody
you can just
else
say, "Bug
and say,
out
yeah,
at
you fix it.
9:30 in the morning."
It's like, my brother
We'll
in
go and
Christ,
figure out the
you're the
substation,
developer.
direction,
You fix it.
temperature, and atmosphere that actually matches that.
I don't.
And if you want to match something specific,
My
you can take an image
whole opinion on it
or use
is
one
that
from a
I
computer
think
and ask it to replicate that look.
genuinely
It uses screenshots to assess and
the
iterate
problem
on
is too many young people are relying on it, and it's going to get to the
Everything
point
is
where
formatted
in 10, 15 years,
Grab a road
here's
and move it.
how senior
The
developers
city
are
adjusts
created.
around it.
You learn,
Ask it to
you
make a
do it
building smaller
yourself.
or more prominent in the scene,
But if
and it does
you
that.
are just using your
Then you
AI to
can
do
go
it
in
for
and
you,
modify
you're
any
never going to
individual
reach that
aspect
skill
of it,
level, which
making
means
it
eventually we're going to
faster.
run out of senior experienced
This
people.
isn't a generated
They're just
image
not going to
from something.
exist.
It's a real scene in Unreal, and you control
And
everything.
also, who designs a building like that?
Now, let's look at one
That's
intercept.
disgusting. Look at
We
that.
wanted to add a hazard zone. Flashing lamps, steam.
Vibe
sensory
coders is a
agents,
bad
and
name for
players.
them. Call them Clanker
Now we have waves
sympathizers.
of back and forth across
Oh,
the
that's a much better name for them.
So here's what we did instead.
Or just
Warning
Clanker
Lamp already has
brained
the
or something
material.
like that.
Let's say you wanna
Clanker
add something
coder.
to it.
I don't know.
You ask the model to read the existing graph.
They call themselves
Then you
vibe
define it,
coders because they're like,
insert
nah,
it
man,
right where
I
you
just
want.
vibe. I don't stress. I just put it in the
Then
AI
dip
and it
into
does
the
everything
material
for me.
instance editor and tweak the final values by hand.
And also, what people don't realize
Then you take a
is
template and
vibe
extend it,
coding is more
adding a
expensive
single
than
parameter
actual
to size
coding because
multiple
guess what?
shaders at
You
once.
got to pay for a
Gives you
bunch of
control over the full
API
project in
tokens.
one place.
You got to pay for a bunch of tokens to
You build
use
out
that
the HUD
AI for
prompt in
coding.
UMG.
That gets
That
expensive very quickly.
danger meter
I think
warning.
one company reported to
Very
Bloomberg
well,
that they
ties
spent
it all
like
together. A proximity
$200
meter
million
connects
or
the
like
material
half a
and
billion
magnets into the
dollars on tokens for
HUD. One
AI
and
for
everything
Claude
fires at
code.
once. All right, so
Like,
let's run
it's
it.
insane.
Lamps
It's
are off,
insanely
quiet.
expensive.
She walks toward the site, the lamps come on, the steam starts rising. She steps inside, lamps are flashing, steam's pouring in, and the site is erupting. What we've shown here today would take months to build by hand. But with the MCP server and Unreal, our artists were able to make all of this in days. When you lower the technical friction, you can
Your
iterate
artist
more
didn't do
and
shit.
make better games. That's what we've built. This is really just a starting point. Bring your own primitives, your own examples, your own skills built around your pipelines. The more your team puts in over time, the more useful it gets for everyone on the project. We're shipping the MCP server, the PCG primitive plugin, and the skills we've developed as part of 5.8 today. It's open, and it's yours
awful.
to extend.
It's
Go
awful.
download it, point your model at it, and see what you can do.
No one clap.
If you want to go deeper, we've got 2 chances to catch our tech talk here at Fest. Come find us.
Don't.
Now I'm going to hand it over to Pat to talk about how some of what I've shown you impacts linear content creation in the engine.
Yes, please, get off the stage. Thank God. I'm sure he's a great guy, but like, nobody wants
Hi,
this
everyone.
AI shit
My
in
name's
the
Pat
gaming
Tubach.
industry.
I've got a background in film and television. For media and entertainment, the MCP plugin that Michael just showed you opens up a wide range of new connections to LLMs, but also to image and video
I'm
models
stuck
like
in
Nano
ads.
Banana,
I ain't focusing on the
GPT
ads
Image,
until I
Rock
see a
Imagine,
fucking
Luma,
train.
Seedance, and many more. Michael was telling you about tools in the
Choo-choo.
present, and I'm going to cover tools for creating linear content that are releasing early next year that give you control over these models. The standard approach to using an image model is to
Welcome
start by
back.
crafting a text
Congratulations, you
prompt. In
missed
this
the
case,
AI.
I wrote a novel describing a fictional scene in Epic Motors, a 1950s
Oh, never
gas
mind. You
station.
didn't.
But in professional situations where you have to hit story points, match exact continuity,
I think
and
we're
deliver
still
what
in
your
the
creative
AI part.
director wants, you would typically communicate visually through sketches and previs. Unreal is great for that. So, to get started in Unreal, I scouted the derelict corridor scene from Quixel that's available on Fab, which I quickly customized to look like the gas station layout I needed. I worked in detail lighting mode.
This is
since I
what
was
the
just
God
using
Emperor
this for
warned
blocking
us
for this
about.
stage.
Not to mention
Dropped in some of
Dune.
the
This is what
appropriate
Dune
assets
warned
from
us
that
about.
map. Shelving, a propane tank, a cabinet, and also made proxy shapes for the assets that I didn't have: a long counter, more shelving, a cash register, and an ice chest. Then I backed up and framed my camera
So he's
view
talking about
and
just
animated a boom
essentially
down and a push in
prevising
that I
and
later used for my shot.
like
But before I
storyboarding his
tackled the
thing,
full video
essentially.
creation, I had to create a single style frame, the visual reference of
This
my
is
scene.
probably fine.
To do that,
Using
I
it
used
for
the
like
model to combine a
reference,
depth pass plus
like
the
if you were
prompt
going to
level
show a
I'd written
director
before.
later and go, yeah, this is kind of the
Depth
layout I was
conditions
thinking
the
for a
models
gas
to
station.
understand the layout and
That's
the
probably
framing.
fine. Like what we're
Here's how
looking
that
at here,
works using
probably
our new
fine.
tools in Unreal. I asked
Anything
Claude
beyond
Code,
this,
connected
though,
by our MCP plugin,
you could stop
to
here.
use Unreal's movie render
You could
graph
stop.
to create a 4K image plus all the rest. Asking for an Unreal render to create the image was a signal to Claude Code that I wanted to give my model my depth pass, but use the creative
He's
look
still going.
described in my prompt. I then
He's
fired
still
off that
going.
request. And while it was being generated, I inspected the graph that it made for the task. Image models are hungry for helpful data and conditioning, and so I prepared a process that
comments
pulls
turned
valuable
on?
visual data
What
from
are they
the Unreal
saying?
scene and passes it to the image model. In this case, Google's Nano Banana Pro.
Doesn't look like it.
Now, let's take a look at this image more closely. You can see that it did a great
I
job.
want to
matching
go
the
on
visual
stage and
detail
just
I
go,
asked for.
I'm gonna have
Most
to stop you right
importantly,
there.
It didn't place things randomly. It matched the composition of my Unreal.
I wouldn't even
viewport
do that. I would just go into the backstage.
I
I'd go to
start
the
to
audio
iterate.
engineer and I just unplug the mic.
For example,
I would just turn that
wanted
shit
another
off.
tire on the floor, but I didn't have that particular asset because it was an image model creation. Using the new image segmentation tools in the editor to mask the tire, I selected both the mask and the image, and with a predefined workflow, asked Claude Code to extract it, repair it, and mesh it using Tripo 3.1. And then I double-checked that graph, and I supervised the work. Now, of course, this is not a real-time process, so after several minutes, I got my textured tire mesh. I saved it to the content browser, where I then pulled in the tire and positioned it in 3D space. And finally, I asked Claude Code to add the tire to the image. Let's take a look at that result. So if we compare my UE passes with the tire in it, you can see that it put the new tire where I asked it to, and it made it look like a variation of the generated tire, not an exact duplicate. All right, now let's add something totally new to the scene by going back to the viewport
buddy,
for
just
another round
stop.
in 3D. I went browsing on
Stop.
Fab and found one of our junkyard car parts for Megascans. I picked the specific fender piece
Yes,
that
take
I
something
wanted,
made by a human, please.
that had a 1950s look modeled into it
There you go.
to leave less to the image
Let's
model's
say I just makes
imagination.
me wish for a
I asked
nuclear
Claude
winter.
Code to add it to my
Just
image
add the tire
and make it
yourself.
look
I know,
like
it
had
can't
been
be
newly
that
repainted.
difficult to find a
And
tire.
after another image processing step in Nano Banana, that was done. Okay, now that I produced my style frame, I was ready to go back to our new Unreal tools to generate a video of our scene. And here's my shot camera move again. If you recall, this is the move that I created at the beginning.
Buddy,
Over on
you
the
spent
right,
so
I ran a
long
sequence
on this
render node
already,
that
you should have
represents
just
the depth over the
storyboarded.
entire
You should have
image.
stopped right here.
I'm gonna use
That
the
black
same
and white
depth
image, that
restyling
depth render.
process
That you should
with
have
the
just
video
stopped
that
there
we did
and
on the
given that
still
to your
image.
director. That's all
I
you
supply the
need.
style frame I just generated to the video model as a first frame reference.
You are
and
doing
you can
these
see that I
extra
added a
AI
cat, just
steps.
hoping for a bit of life. And then
Why
I
is
set
the
my
cat
video
there?
generation node to use Seedance 2.0, set the resolution, added audio, and then I was off. Once that process had run for several minutes, I had a video that looked like this. So clearly, this is showing you that I can control the camera, but nobody controls a cat. Let's leave the garage and the cat and move on to an apartment. This is a different workflow.
We
that
can
we've been
move on
building
from
in
this
parallel
segment
for
entirely,
more
buddy.
rapid concepting with diffusion and your viewport side by side. What you're seeing here in this video is the UE viewport on the left that was
It's a
streaming to
tire, a
local
circular
flux client
object,
image
something we
model on the
made in
right.
our first few
The
steps
local
of
model result
humankind.
isn't
Why are we
temporally
having
coherent. It was stamping a
to
new
need
image
help
on
from
every
a
frame
clanker
and
to
only
find a
running few
wheel?
frames a second, which is why it seems slower over there on
I
the right.
don't know, man.
But let me
I
show you
really
how
don't.
intuitive it is to use. I prompted for sunset lighting at first, and then decided to see what it would look like if there had just been a fire in this apartment. And then I tried something more extreme, like being underwater at the bottom of a murky pond. The
I
real
got an
benefit
idea.
you
How
get
about you
here is
ask
being
it
able
what
to
it
go
would
back
look
to
like
the UV
if Claude
viewport,
was
interact
not
with
in
the
this,
assets, and see
if there
them
were no
repositioned
AI
through
involved.
this new diffusion lens. Not only that, but you can try more illustrated looks like a charcoal drawing or even a watercolor painting. As models get more capable and hardware improves, it's not hard to project this workflow forward to a time when diffusion's real-time and temporally consistent. Okay, let's look at some other examples of Unreal Engine scenes restyled by artists in the engine using a variety of sources, some of which are premium environment packs from
I
our friends
swear
at
to God,
Kitbash
if you
3D,
say restyled by
and some of which
artists
are our
and
own
it's just
internal
somebody
assets,
putting in
including
a
the city
prompt,
sample. Starting from quality source assets leaves less room for interpretation by the models. We think these new UE tools are a force multiplier that will give artists more opportunities for
I literally
creative
just saw
iteration,
two.
on their work alongside the
That was
real-time
horrible. I saw
animation,
somebody
modeling,
clapping on the left,
texturing,
and their
virtual
arms were
production
merging
tools
into
that
each
you've
other,
come
and then
to
the two
count on
fighters in the
Unreal
center were
Engine.
like slapboxing.
So this is where we're headed. The
But,
MCP
like,
server that's enabling
it
all
didn't
this
look
is
right. They weren't
experimental,
making
and what you're
contact.
seeing here for image and video
What the
creation
hell was
will
that?
be available early next year. We're on this journey together, and we're aware
No
that for these
AI
models
involved,
to be
these
truly
cog
useful,
lovers would be
we need to
stuck at the
focus on
drawing
not just
board.
lowering
I
technical
know.
complexity, but also giving you full creative control over what you're making. Thank you.
Get off the stage. Thank you. I swear to God, if you talk about
Thanks, Pat.
AI
That
in
was
the Epic
awesome.
Store, don't you dare.
All right, so now
Don't you
you've
dare.
seen more, even great features, workflow improvements that are all going to help you make awesome games and content. So let's talk about distribution. 2025 was a year of growth for the Epic Game Store, and we're off to a great start in 2026. In our year in review, we reported that December monthly active users reached 78
Yeah,
million,
nobody's
an
gonna
all-time
fucking use
record
those AI tools.
for the Epic Game Store.
Nobody better use them.
And
Anybody
players
that's
spent
using them, like
$1.16
actually
billion
using
in the
them,
store
is
across
going to be
third-party
creating
and
horrible
first-party
products.
titles.
Nobody's going to
That's
buy
up
those games.
6% year over year. If you just look at third-party titles, player spending hit $400 million. That's up 57% year over year. And we now have over 6,000 games in the catalog from over 3,000 partners. We offer multiple ways for you to help your business grow. In June of 2025, we announced that developers would keep 100% of the first $1 million of net revenue per product per year, with an industry-leading 88/12 rev share kicking in after that million.
This looks like
We've
what
got
actual
Epic
brain
First
rot
Run,
looks like.
which gives
Where we
developers the
become
opportunity to keep
over-reliant on
100%
AI, tilt
of net
artistry,
revenue
creativity,
for the
and
first 6
actually
months before launching on other stores.
brainstorming
We also
becomes
have
near
Launch
extinct.
Everywhere with Epic, which gives
I don't
UE
know if
developers
you've
a
ever
reduced
seen like
engine
a
royalty
Gen
rate
Alpha use AI or anything like that, but like
when
they
sim
don't
ship their
think.
title on the Epic Game Store.
They don't think. I've worked a couple of jobs
Finally,
working
continue to
in
push
schools
on
and
Epic
after school
Rewards,
programs.
granting
Like
5% back to players
when
on all
kids are
third-party
on their
content
phones or like
purchases and
asking
processed by
AI
Epic.
things, they're not thinking.
Now, last year we had a 20%
They're not
rewards
thinking. They
boost
just want
in the
an.
back half of the year.
It's not even
And we've
about
seen
instant
players continue to
gratification.
spend
It's
at
about
heightened
not even
levels
using
the rewards that they accumulated
their
to earn
critical
during the
thinking
promotional
skills
period.
at all.
In fact, spending through the first 4 months of the year on third-party games is up over 40% year over year. So beyond these great incentive programs, we're really working to connect the Epic Game Store more closely with the Fortnite ecosystem. And that'll give developers access to an even larger player base. Take our collab with HoYoverse as an example. When
Zero
players
thought,
purchased
brain go
eligible
tonk,
items in
tonk, tonk,
Honkai
tonk,
Star Rail on the
tonk,
Epic
emo.
Game Store, they were granted a
Empty.
Stellaron Hunter Blade outfit that could be used across the entire Fortnite ecosystem, in Battle Royale or in thousands of UEFN games. So some players discovered Honkai Star Rail for the first time in Fortnite. Then they went on to spend on the game in the Epic Game Store, and their spend unlocked a new outfit that they brought back into Fortnite. It's a virtuous circle for both developers and players. We've got
But what
over
if I don't care about
30 million,
Fortnite?
sorry, not 30 million, that would be a lot. 30 similar collabs planned for 2026, with more coming in 2027. So we're delivering great incentives for both developers and for players, but we need to make the store experience better.
Yes, please.
And over
Improve
the
your
last
search
several
function.
months, the
More
team's been
tags.
hard at work rebuilding the launcher. Our goal here is to dramatically improve
not what I
performance with reduced cold start times and much faster browsing.
Faster
We've also
browsing,
been
yes.
re-architecting the back end of the store, which is going to allow us to ship new player-facing features faster and more frequently. We'll be improving search and discovery, adding a lot of long-awaited community features, and doubling down on delivering overall better player experience.
Talk about the how.
We
How
are
are you doing
committed
that?
to growing the Epic Games Store, and we're not relenting in our mission to give developers access to a high-value global player base with the most favorable terms in the industry. You can learn more about our plans for the Epic Games Store in this session tomorrow. And now that we've covered a bit of what's happening in our ecosystem, let's hear from some of the teams putting it all to work. First, 20 years after Emergence Day, the Coalition is finally telling the story they've always wanted to tell. Darker, more alive, and running at 60 frames per second with hundreds of shadow casting lights. Then, Riot Games is doing something most studios would never attempt. Rebuilding a live PC and mobile game with 300 million players on a new engine, all while keeping the live service running. And finally, the small team at Neon Giant set out to build the densest, most lived-in city
I was really hoping he was going to announce Riot Games.
A city where every frame tells a story.
All this I hear about Epic Games Store is Steam in the corner going, I built that shit in a cave with a bunch of scraps.
One engine. Up first, please welcome Kate Rayner from the Coalition.
Yeah, Steam does have the better store. They have the better store. I personally think Epic's got the better option for developers and publishers.
I'm Kate Rayner. It's great to be able to join
as far
you
as
today.
the
Gears of War will celebrate its 20th anniversary this year, and Unreal Engine has been the foundation of every game since the series first
Why
debuted
did she looked
in
high
2006.
to me? Like she was trying to hide
For
it.
Gears of War E-Day, we made the decision to invest in Unreal
Was she
Engine
smoking
5
or snorting something
and
in the back
start
before
with a
she
blank
came
hard
out?
drive and rebuild everything from scratch to achieve the believability of a world in chaos. Emergence Day is the darkest day in our universe, the day the monstrous locust horde emerged from the ground.
Why does she sound like that one actor?
And to truly feel the emotional
Jennifer
impact
Coolidge.
of that loss,
Oh yeah, she
we
does
needed
kind
to
of.
return to a dark and gritty visual style.
See the way she's
Light
squinting.
and shadow
It
do more
almost
than
looks
just set
like
a
she's
tone. And with
trying
Unreal
to
Engine
act
5,
a little more
we've
sensual
pushed our
and
signature
calm,
Gears style
and almost
to the
like she's
next level.
hiding how high she is.
So let's show you a taste of what we've built.
Okay.
Welcome to the Pay and Save Superstore in downtown Kelowna. In
Wow.
previous games, a space like this was limited to 3 shadow casters in view. With megalights, we now have hundreds of light sources, all casting shadows at 60 frames per
That
second
mega lights
on
is
Xbox
huge.
Series
So
X.
basically, what that means is normally,
This TV
when you
display
put
wall
lights,
utilizes
dynamic
animated
lights
area
specifically
lights
into
with
your
light
game,
functions
it
that
has
are driven
to
by the video
calculate the
itself.
shading and lighting from each individual light source,
They each
which
cast
could take
eerie and
forever, and it
unsettling
limits how many of those you can
shadows
have.
with
But
soft
mega lights
penumbra
are essentially
across
combining them all into one calculation. And so you can have a bunch of dynamic light sources without static and ambient lights filling in the blanks.
Indestructible assets like this tiled pillar.
I'm gonna be for real. I've had the stream on
These
portrait
dynamic
mode this entire
objects
time.
have
I'm
to
literally
receive
just
light
listening right
correctly,
now.
So destruction stays visually grounded.
Oh, like the upper half's just black?
exactly
Yeah.
what you'd expect in the real world.
I guess I should put that in, huh?
Let's
I
check
did
out
talk
the
about
freezer
how I
section.
didn't set that up.
All these freezers have multiple area lights inside them.
Let me
to
see.
simulate that realistic lighting effect of the frozen
There we
food
go.
section of your local grocery store. During combat, bullets create a dynamic shatter point in the glass. When it
Sorry,
shatters,
I didn't feel like
all
setting it
the
up
pieces
because I didn't think
fly
anybody
with the
watches
environment
it.
using hardware ray trace collisions with physically accurate, translucent reflections.
But yeah, normally when you have dynamic lights, which actually react to the scene, actually
It's
have something happening
amazing
now.
to see how many light sources there are in here. There are hundreds of them, from the small lights on Marcus's armor
Oh, you're
to
hearing
the large
double?
spotlights on the ceiling. There is
How
no
about that?
way we'd ever be able to achieve this effect or have this many ray-traced area lights on current generation hardware without megalights. A staple of the Gears franchise, E-holes are back in Gears of War E-Day. So let's open some up.
Okay.
Without all the monsters in the way, you can see all the volumetrics and smoke lit perfectly.
Thank you for redeeming a little sippy sip. I will take a little sippy sip out of my little drinky drink. I am out of Dr. Pepper, so I will drink some water.
Shadows on every single one of our muzzle flashes. This is a really great improvement that adds to the dynamic combat of Gears with a more believable firing experience that puts you right in the middle of the action.
Trees do need
like
water.
never before.
Thank you for letting me know to drink more. I noticed there's no reticle in the center. Did they turn that off for the stream?
Our game isn't
Now, see,
limited
that
to just
particular
a single
effect
space.
looked a little off
We
because
can
the smoke just kind of
explore the
emerged out
entire
of
city
nowhere.
Kelowna with tens of thousands of shadow casting lights. Delivering E-Day with this level of visual fidelity has not been
Gotta
easy.
manage in the strain on the graphics
But we
cards.
can iterate
Well, that's the
so much
entire
faster
idea
with
here
hardware ray
is
trace lumen compared to the big lighting
that this is all
we
one
used in
big
the past.
calculation rather than a bunch of tiny little ones. And so it's
With
supposed to
megalights,
be
our lighters are
a
no
lot
longer
lighter on your
constrained by the number of
GPU.
real-time
That's the
shadow
idea
casters,
here, is they
giving
improve
them the freedom
performance.
to light our game with the same complexity as the real world. And we have 100 times the geometric detail in our assets due to Nanite's micro-polygon rendering.
Now, Nanite is not super
All of these systems work together to create a
optimized,
highly
so I'm
scalable
not
engine
sure how
that
many people
allows
are
us
actually
to
going to use that.
consistently deliver
But the
a visual
megalights-
showcase across Xbox and PC.
Yeah, we'll see.
As developers, many of us know there is a difference between
My
a
PC
compelling
won't be
demo
smoking like
and
a grill.
delivering a fully
Yeah, unfortunately, you
realized
won't be able to
vision
put some
at
bacon on
60
it
frames
anymore.
per second. The Coalition is pushing Unreal Engine 5 and the hardware it runs on to their limits to reimagine the Gears world at an unprecedented level of detail. We can't wait for you to see for yourselves when E-Day launches
No,
on
my
October
juicy
6th.
bacon.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, we're cooking breakfast on your GPU. Yeah, I don't know. They said they didn't have a tech demo ready for this stream.
We're not out of it yet.
Her outfit's nice though, but yeah, why she kind of look high? I don't know. I don't know. She was snorting something in the backstage before she came out. Because the way she just kind of stood there and stood stock still except for her head. Like her arm, her left hand was just sitting like on her hip in front of her leg, upper thigh. And it did not move. And her other arm was just at her side, straight, was not moving either. I don't know what her deal was. She was either really nervous or she was high. Welcome in, Rocky. Welcome in. Thank you for eating a little snack. We are watching the State of Unreal Engine stream, and we're finally through all the AI bullshit. So now we're looking at what companies are doing with Unreal Engine. Welcome into the stream.
Tactics, or TFT as we like to call it.
How you
TFT is an
doing?
auto
And good
battler
morning.
that we
It's a rare
originally built
morning
as a
stream
game
for
mode
us.
on the same engine as League of Legends.
How's your day going?
We built it fast.
I swear to God, if
About
some dude
18
comes in and
weeks
says
from
she's
idea to
actually
launch.
AI, I'm gonna cry.
And then
No,
it
I
grew
don't
way
think they
beyond
will.
what we expected.
I think she was just
TFT has become
either
a leading
high
strategy
or
game
like
with more than
very nervous to
300
be up
million
on stage.
players across the ecosystem, which is kind of wild to say out loud. We've just announced that TFT is moving to Unreal Engine with our next set, Enchanted Wilds. Rebuilding a live game on a new
Does anybody
engine
still
while it's
play
still
Teamfight
running
Tactics?
is not something most games choose to do.
She's probably nervous.
It's years of
Yeah,
work
it is a
across
big stage with a
engineering,
lot of
art,
lights.
design, and production.
I get it.
And that gets even harder when your game is still shipping new sets, events, everything to players on a regular cadence. But that's
I've never
what we
heard of the game.
decided to do.
It's basically auto chess. Like you put a character on the board, and then based on their position and their rank, they fight for you automatically. It's an auto fighter.
It was about what became possible. Building on shared
It's
technology.
a weird game. They weren't the first to do it. Dota's done it.
Spending
Blizzard's
less time
done it.
rebuilding foundations and more time building TFT.
So like
One
Arknights,
example is the gameplay
kinda,
ability system.
except less.
It gives us a more structured
Well,
and
Arknights
flexible
is
way to build
more
gameplay as the game
tower
grows.
defense.
And for a game like TFT, where every set brings new mechanics,
This is
content, and ways
more
to play,
more like a
that kind of
chessboard
common
where you put
foundation
your
matters a
pieces and then
lot.
they fight automatically.
It gives us shared building blocks, abilities, attributes, and effects that can be reused across very different parts of the game. And that lets us move faster over time.
Yeah.
With
But yeah,
Unreal,
they
we
do
had
fight
to rethink how the
automatically.
game was
So
built.
kinda like
Architecture,
Arknights.
networking, gameplay,
Kinda.
even the way the game data is structured had to change. And early versions of the game in Unreal just didn't feel right. Performance was rough. We had builds running at around 12 frames per second in an 8-player game, which I'm sure all of you can imagine was not exactly the target. So the first goal for us wasn't innovation. It was parity. We had to get TFT back. And that meant reworking a lot of systems inside Unreal. Some gave us a strong starting point, others required significant customization, and some we rebuilt from scratch. For example, networking.
I swear, if
As we
anybody,
built
like,
more
I
of the
understand
game
that's a
and added more
marketing
content,
shot
we started
of
to
like
hit
the two
limits.
guys
With a
over the
huge
woman's
number of
shoulder
gameplay
looking at
actors
the
in a
computer.
match, the
But the
default
only thing I
replication
can think
approach wasn't enough to meet our server
the only
and
thing I
bandwidth
can think
performance
of when I
targets.
saw that shot
So,
is
with
them
Epic's help,
mansplaining like, no,
we
you're doing it
evolved our
wrong.
approach,
No, you're doing it wrong.
adopting Iris
No, I'm doing
networking
it okay.
with
I'm doing it
push-based
right. I
replication
got it.
and
I
fast
got
arrays
it.
to
No,
get the
you got to
performance
do it
we
like this.
needed.
You're doing it
The
wrong.
hard part wasn't getting something working. It was making it work at scale.
It's just, that shot just had those
Gameplay
vibes,
was
you
another
know?
big one. We leaned heavily into the gameplay ability system. It's powerful and helped us get something up and running quickly, which, as many of you know, matters a lot early on. But TFT has sets,
Felt like the meme
modes,
of the
and
North
gameplay
Koreans just
content
staring
that don't
at a
always ship
blank
on the same
screen.
timeline. And pretty quickly, we realized we needed a better way to organize
I mean,
all
that's
of it.
probably what they're looking
So
at
we
when they
ended
do
up
these
using the
marketing
Game
shots. They
Features
usually don't
plugin
have
to
anything
give
on
that
the screen.
content clearer boundaries and a more scalable way to share systems. And that gave the teams more freedom to build. And then there's mobile. A huge part of
Or
TFT
it's like
is
the,
that it runs on a wide range of devices,
the tech,
including low-end
oh, what is it?
mobile
The
hardware.
tech support meme where the
That
guy is
didn't
working on
change
the
just because we
tablet or
moved
laptop.
engines. And while
And
this has been
the
one of
other,
the hardest
it's two black
parts
guys.
of the
The first black guy
migration,
walks over, like
it's
pushes
also
two
one of the
buttons, and then
reasons
goes,
we made the move.
there you go.
Mobile
And
is
the
a
other guy
huge
just
part
goes,
of how people play TFT,
of
including me.
course.
So
Oh
we
my
invested
God,
deeply
yes.
in custom rendering,
Oh,
memory management, and
like,
scaling
I
the
can't
game
believe I
across
didn't think of
devices,
that.
working closely with Epic to get TFT running where we needed it to. But we're still early in that journey. We're already sharing much more across
I've
PC
also
and mobile
noticed
than we could
everybody's
before,
wearing like
and there's
Adidas
still a lot more
shoes.
we can do for our mobile players.
Was Adidas a sponsor of this
Content
broadcast? Are
migration.
they required?
I'm guessing a lot of you already know where this is going. TFT
Or at least
has
those look like
thousands
Adidas
of
shoes.
assets across art, animation,
All
VFX,
three
and
people
audio
clicking
that had to
buttons
be
that do
migrated.
nothing. Yeah.
And every type of content broke differently.
Or
when we
worse, you
brought
can
it
tell
over.
that they're putting their fingers
VFX
on the
alone
monitor.
was a massive amount of work. We weren't just converting
God, that
assets,
angers me
we
so
were
much.
moving
I did
between
have a boss
fundamentally different
at an office
systems.
job I worked
Getting
who would
thousands of
come
assets
over
into the engine
and
was one
they'd look at what
challenge.
I'm doing
Getting them
and they would
back to the
push their
quality bar
finger
that
into the
players
monitor.
expect was another.
They'd push it hard enough,
And
not
we
just to leave a
really
fingerprint,
underestimated how
but
much
also
time
to
this would
like
take.
push the
So a
screen in and
huge
you can
part
see all
of
the
the
colors
effort became
distort.
building the tooling and pipelines to
And I'm like,
fix,
stop,
convert, and
stop.
validate
You are
all that
damaging the
content
monitor.
at
Jesus
scale.
Christ.
And that's where Unreal's extensibility
And they
really
didn't even
mattered.
have anything important.
We
They
could
were just like,
build the
oh, what's
systems
that?
we needed
What
to
are you
make this
working on?
possible,
Poke,
'cause
poke,
there
poke,
was
poke,
no
poke.
world where we were rebuilding all of that by hand. And we kept running into the same pattern. Unreal gives you a lot, but getting from Unreal to TFT still took
I
a
fat
massive
fingered
amount
my
of work.
keyboard. Sorry about that. Did
We're
not mean to
already
switch.
seeing the impact of Unreal across TFT.
Did not
More
mean
of
to
the
switch
game is
to the
built on
BRB
shared
screen. My bad.
foundations.
But
Mobile
why
and
would your boss do
PC
that? Because he
share
was
much
an
more
asshole.
of the same UI and
He was a
underlying
micromanaging
systems,
asshole who
and we're
wanted
able
to feel
build
like he
on
controlled
technology and
every part of our
capabilities that
lives.
exist across
That's all he
Riot.
did all day, by
And
the way.
that's the biggest thing
That,
Unreal
like,
gave us.
all day,
Not a
every day, that's
feature,
what he did. He went from
leverage.
desk to desk talking to
But
people.
this
I
move
guess
isn't
he
for
thought of
everyone.
himself as like a
For
very
TFT,
personable
this is
boss.
what
Like,
let
oh
us
yeah,
move
my people like me. I
faster,
talk to them
take
all the
bigger
time.
swings, and keep
But the
delivering
reality is
experiences
he's going
players
desk to desk
expect.
micromanaging.
Because for us,
Did you
this
piss
is
in his
about building
coffee?
TFT
No, I
into a
unfortunately
forever
didn't. I
game
never got the
players can
chance.
keep coming back to. Players will get their first
Instead, I just got
opportunity to play
myself into a
TFT
position where
on
everybody
Unreal
else was leaving,
in just a few
and then
weeks.
all their work started
And
getting piled onto
honestly,
me
I
because he
hope
refused
players
to
pick
hire
it up
more
and
people.
say,
And then
"Yeah,
finally,
this
I just said,
feels
cool,
like
I'm gone
TFT."
too.
Because if we've done
And
our
you
job
got no one to
well,
pass my work
they
on
won't
to,
be
so
thinking
go
about
fuck
the
yourself,
engine
buddy.
at all.
Bye.
They'll just be playing TFT.
And you know what he said to me?
Thank you so much. I hope you all have a great Unreal Fest.
You have to turn in your 2 weeks notice. And I'm like, you just fired 3 people without 2 weeks notice and then gave their work to me. So I don't have to give you 2 weeks of anything.
Freak, creative director at Neon Giant, here to talk about No Law, the next game from our studio. In our first game, The Ascent, our small team pushed the out-of-the-box UE4 tech.
Now
with
this
CMake,
game I like.
making
I actually
highly
did play The
detailed,
Ascent. The
lived-in
Ascent was
sci-fi
really
world.
good. A lot of fun.
For our new game, No
Surprisingly short,
Law, a
but I did like
high-fidelity,
it.
immersive first-person shooter set in the unregulated city of Port Desire.
I'd
We
frankly
knew
pee on
that our
his
best
desk so
starting
I'd get
point
fired.
would be building a game around the core
I'd do a
feature
lot
set
more.
of Unreal 5, because a small team like ours needs to work
I
with
would-
the engine, not against
I
it.
would take some kind of
realized
stink
early on
bomb and
that
I'd
out of the
hide it
box wouldn't
somewhere
be
in
enough.
his office where he
We
couldn't
had to
find it.
push beyond the default and build our own workflow inside
Like a
UE5
reverse
to
air
make the world
freshener.
we wanted.
A
We're
reverse
proud of
air
what we did with The
freshener,
Ascent,
and I would just
and No
hide
Law
it somewhere in his
is the next
office,
step
like
in that
maybe
same
behind
approach.
his desk against the
Our
wall,
constraint
you know,
was
so he'd have to
specific.
pull his desk
We
away from
didn't
the wall
want
to
the
find it.
largest world, but
That's
the
what I would do.
densest. A city that feels
He would just have to
lived in
deal
at
with the
every
stinky
city.
office
Every
until he
corner
found
tells
it.
history and every surface tells a story. Port Desire is shaped by human clutter, cramped market alleys, layered graffiti, worn stickers on electrical boxes. A story
Shit
with
in his
every
office
frame,
where he
from a
can't
messy
find it,
apartment
he'll
where
just be
characters go
smelling.
about their lives, to the
Or, you
skyline
know what you
of the
could
city.
do?
As a
Yeah,
relatively
shit in his
small team,
office,
that
or
ambition came with real challenges.
Shit in a bucket
We
or
wanted
something and then
extreme
hide it
detail
in the ceiling.
everywhere, but
Like
we
the
also
little
needed
ceiling
stability
tiles that pop
and
up.
performance
You just
without
pop one of
hand
those open,
optimizing
put it
each
up there,
location.
close it,
For us,
and it'll
the
just
answer
rot up
wasn't a
there.
single system,
It'll be
but a
perfect.
shift in how we
Perfect.
build the world. We prioritized
Perfect
density
vengeance against your
over
boss.
scale,
Not
and
to
we built
mention
a
how
pipeline
disgusting it
that
is
let
to do
artists
that in
handcraft
person.
spaces
Douse
without
it in
constantly stripping
ammonia.
detail back and without
Or just get a
relying on
bucket of
CPU
ammonia.
generation.
Nah, it's gotta be in the
Nanite
vents.
is
Well,
what
if it's
made
in the
that
vents,
approach
it's gonna get
viable.
discovered.
It lets us keep a high level
People
of
check the
detail across
vents.
surfaces without treating every asset
But
as a
people don't check
trade-off
the
between
random ceiling
fidelity
tile.
and performance. Our custom implementation of FastGeo in combination with the
I don't
world
like that-
partition system enables a
That little
seamless experience
pixelation that
never
was happening on
breaks.
the shader there. That was
It
weird.
allows us to have details in every nook and cranny and tell a million small stories. In fact, we have more objects in any given frame than the entirety of the Ascent. With this workflow, we can preserve detail and density
Yeah, but I'm
in every
literally
corner,
watching
from
things
the smallest bolt on a freighter
render
to
in
the
and
city
out.
as a whole.
I'm literally
with no
looking at
invisible
them.
walls and no loading. We build tools inside Unreal to help our artists handcraft the entire city, alley by alley, building by building, block by block.
Yeah, the smaller objects or the further something gets away, the worse this render engine gets. You're not meant to render things. Like, he's talking about how impressive it is, but here's the thing. No engine, even Unreal, as impressive as it is, was meant to render something in high detail from a really far distance away. That's why we decimate things when they get to a certain distance. We reduce their poly count. Because you're not meant to render, like, somebody's entire fibers on their shirt. You're not meant to render that thing from, 100 meters away. You don't need to see the pores on their face from that far. And I think some of the issues here, some of the glitchiness that I'm seeing on faraway objects, might be from them trying to render all that. So they may still have some work to do.
Or
Then again, that was a pre-rendered cutscene, so maybe it's just something they recorded real quick for a tech demo or for a presentation.
Shying away from glare, searching through darkness, or escalating
Okay.
when something
So it looks to me
feels
like they're
off.
basically trying to make Cyberpunk, but actually good? Maybe?
Who's got the bigger gun, motherfucker?
To make the city feel alive, we leaned on the mass framework to drive our crowds. NPC density and types shift based on time of day, region, and weather. In the slums, a storm clears the streets, But in the more sinful parts of Port Desire, even heavy rain won't slow things down. Mass lets us simulate thousands of characters at once, over 3,000 at any given time, which is also more than the entirety of the ascent. So the city always feels active, no matter where you are. We're also using
Yeah, but you don't need to render all of them at once. You just need to track their positions.
Together with MetaHuman Animator, we can generate and bring to life thousands and thousands of variations of characters, so that the main characters and the extras in the background are all unique.
He may just be using the wrong words to describe it.
To the player, without us having to hand place effects and destruction. Filling a world of this density and scale with contextual effects while maintaining performance and interactivity was one of our key challenges. By combining PCG and Niagara data channels, environmental effects are procedurally populated where appropriate. Wherever artist plays trash or leaves, particles will spawn dynamically based on wind, weather, and player actions. Shoot a bullet or throw a grenade, and particles will move out of the way.
Now that's pretty cool.
We combined chaos physics and their own GPU-driven solution to support tens of thousands of
buddy, I think he's dead.
Simultaneously. The result is a reactive environment where smoke lingers, embers drift, and broken glass stays where
I don't want to be
creating no law
a naysayer here, but I think that may have been overkill. I think that may have been overkill.
And systemic
shot him 19 times and then he exploded.
By leveraging UE5's latest tech to bypass traditional development bottlenecks, we have finally been able to build the uncompromised version of the world we wanted to create for years. We can't
So is this in the same universe as The Ascent?
Thank you.
I wonder. All right, so we've had three people now
everyone.
after
I lead the Fortnite
that one
developer
girl
relations
who don't
team here
look
at
high.
Epic, and I'm here to talk with you about what's happening in the Fortnite ecosystem. Every one of the games on the screen behind me was built by an independent developer. Small teams, sometimes just 2 or 3 people using UEFN, published into an ecosystem of millions of players. For those of you who have been with us in UEFN, some since day one, thank you. Your feedback has really helped shape the tools, and your creativity has shifted how more than 75 million monthly active users experience Fortnite. Your games are a growing share of Fortnite playtime. In May, we saw them capture 47% of all player hours.
Okay, so they're just talking about fan-made Fortnite games.
Up from just 38% a year ago. And with over $1 billion now paid out to developers since the launch of UEFN, these teams are building businesses here through engagement payouts and, as of January, in-island transactions.
Yeah, if you're not aware, UEFN is basically the Fortnite version of the Roblox developer system. So you can make your own games based out of the Fortnite version of the Unreal Engine.
From in-island transactions than engagement payouts. And we're continuing to see
it's
a
not the best,
share of total
in my opinion,
coming from in-island transactions.
But it's okay.
It's been a boost for
if it's like your first
game
that you're making ever, it's probably okay. It's probably pretty good.
Over 75% of all in-island transaction revenue. We know it takes trust to build on a platform that's still maturing, and this year, stability and developer effectiveness is our #1 priority. Back in March, we stated our goal to cut iteration times, and we've been making real progress, getting the time it takes to push changes down by an average of 40% or so. That's even higher for larger projects, and we've seen reductions of up to 70%. Plus, expanded live edit support makes iteration faster and more streamlined. Live edits are now applied directly in game mode, and the new edit list gives you a clear view of the changes as you work.
Oh, nice.
The consolidated UI simplifies session controls and adds the ability to pause the game, letting you explore the edit the scene with a detached camera.
That's pretty cool.
And then work's not done here. We're continuing to drive iteration times down and make UEFN a better tool to build with, release after release. And alongside hardening the tools, we're unlocking more gameplay capabilities. Scene Graph, which is soon to be the
I have to
foundation of
wonder
UE
who they're
6,
actually
is
intending
maturing
to
quickly
make this for,
in
because they're putting a lot of
UEFN and giving
tools.
Fortnite developers far more control and customization than ever before. It underpins new systems like
Yeah,
custom
here's the thing that
items,
you got to be careful of though,
inventories,
because
and as of our latest
UEFN is made
release,
for
an initial set of workflows
it's made
creating
for like
custom
people who aren't
weapons and animation with
experienced
Scene
in
Graph.
game development. They're making their first game.
And
They're
there's
trying
much
it
more
out
on the
there. They just
way,
want to make something
including
real
gameplay
quick.
attributes,
If you
gameplay abilities,
overload
and
them
some
with
cracked UI.
tools, it's
We're introducing
not
more
really
and more
going to
major engine
appeal too
systems
well,
as
and that's
first
kind of my
scriptable
concern here.
components
That's a
so that you
lot.
can spend more time in UEFN authoring gameplay and less time configuring it. We're
Like,
also opening
there,
up new types
UEFN
of
is not
gameplay
for
with
anybody that's
targeted
in this
feature
room,
sets.
in this
Feature-based gameplay tools just shipped with
conference.
games launching
None of the
later
people there
this
are going to be
summer.
using UEFN.
And Fortnite Sidekicks
None of them.
allows developers to tap into the attachment players have
I hope they're
already
not
built with their own
misunderstanding that.
companions. Developers can now build pet battlers, cozy farming sims, and more. And we're expanding where those games come to life. Fortnite is back on Google Play and the App Store worldwide, and mobile playtime for UEFN games has more than doubled.
I honestly didn't know it ever came off of those. I thought it was always on
We
mobile.
know that optimizing for mobile hasn't been easy. We're hoping that some of the recent feature
Yeah, no
releases,
kidding.
like native gesture support and touchscreen layout
Unreal Engine is kind of
customizations and
hefty.
finer
Makes it
control
hard to
over your
put on
HUD,
mobile games.
can help you build more mobile-friendly games. These mobile features will exit experimental mode in August, enabling experiences and genres that feel more at home on mobile. Our recent Discover changes are already showing results. We've cracked down on spam and duplicate content, sorted islands into clear genres, and personalized Discover to help your games find audiences faster. And later this year, we're going to be doing a full redesign. Video everywhere, personalization across every row, and social signals, including like percentage right on the tile. And a big shift, Discover replaces the lobby as the first thing that players see when they open Fortnite. We'll be diving deeper into the Discover roadmap and the
Yeah, I
rest
don't know
of
how I
the
feel
UEFN
about that.
ecosystem over the next few days.
It feels like they're trying to make UEFN
Our IP partner program enables any
more
Fortnite
appealing
developer
to actual
build with officially licensed
development
content
teams,
from major
like
IP,
actual studios.
like Lego, Star Wars, Squid Game, and more. Each partnership unlocks exclusive characters, environments, and templates that developers can use to create games they can't build anywhere else. One of the OG UEFN developers, Future Trash, has successfully brought their FOD IP to Fortnite and launched a hit game set in a galaxy far, far away. Their founder, Kevin, is here to share more about what they've been up to, so please give him a warm welcome.
Okay, never mind. I guess there are actual studios using UEFN. I've never heard of
Thank you,
Future
Hannah.
Trash, though.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kevin Marciano, co-founder and CEO of Future Trash, the game studio behind FOD. In 2022, my
don't know what that
co-founders,
is.
Nate, Scott, Eric, and I
I'm gonna look
quit
them
our
up.
jobs, and we wanted to build the next great party game. We were betting everything on an indie studio with one idea and a lot of passion.
FOD?
We learned fast how brutal that road is. Back-end infrastructure, discoverability, distribution, the walls were everywhere. By
Competitive
early
party
2023,
game.
we only had a few weeks of runway left. I flew to GDC with the Steam Deck in hand, trying to get anyone's attention to care about what we had built.
I have never even
That's
heard
when
of it.
UEFN got announced, and we thought, why don't we bring our game into Fortnite? We weren't native to UGC, so it felt incredibly risky. After some experimentation with the tools and learning more about the blossoming creator economy, we could see the potential. We rolled up our sleeves and shipped our first game in under 3 weeks. We hit publish and got player feedback almost instantly. And that's when it settled in. This was going to be our path forward. And that bold pivot didn't just save our company, it changed our perspective on the future of the games industry.
Okay,
What
so
UEFN
I
gave
see.
us
I
wasn't
think I
just a
see what they're
platform.
doing.
It was direct access to our audience.
So
No gatekeepers, no public
much in the
reviews.
same way how Lego
Have an idea,
Fortnite and
build
Rocket
it, play it,
Racing
play it.
were built into
We found that the
UEFN
sales
out of
leverage
the
was
Fortnite
genuinely
version of
about
the
a
Unreal Engine.
small studio.
They
From
want
MOBA
other
that
studios
didn't
to
quite land
come
with
in
Fortnite
and
audience to our
build
first breakout
similar
hit, Invictus,
titles
We had the opportunity
natively
to
into
experiment with a wide
Fortnite.
range of genres and discover what felt right for our creative sensibilities.
I think
on
I
the
see what they're
platform.
trying to do. Okay.
As a studio obsessed
So that's
with
why
world
they're
building,
appealing to
character-driven
studios.
experiences, and building
That makes
original
sense.
RP, UEFN became
I
our
don't like
creative
that. That
sandbox
feels
and our
weird,
distribution layer
but
at the same time.
that makes sense.
Star Wars has always been a creative inspiration to everyone on our team since childhood. None of us ever dreamt that we'd be able to craft our own game using the iconic IP with essentially total creative control. The droids of Star Wars.
Yeah, I
do
imagine
the
that's
hardest
going to
work,
come
they
to be an
survive the
issue,
worst
though.
odds, and they
Disney
get the least amount of credit. And we thought, let's make a
Disney
game about
is
them.
notorious for
Droid Tycoon was our love
not
letter to these
liking when
unsung
people
heroes
do
of the
whatever
Star
they
Wars
want with
universe.
their IPs.
It's hard to believe that this game could have existed
I can't
anywhere else.
imagine that developers,
we
whenever
see the
handling it,
future
are going to
of our
actually
legacy
have
IP will
total
embrace
creative freedom
DC
unless
natives
given
and creators to
explicit
foster
permission.
an infinite extension of their content universe.
I don't know. I
That's
feel
one
like
of the most
little
exciting
Jimmy over
stories
here
we've told.
can't make
And you all showed up to prove it. Since we launched the map, Droid
Fortnite
Tycoon became the most played UEFN game in Fortnite by
droid
hours.
dating
We
simulator
climbed to the second most played
where you
game
get to
across
date
all of Fortnite in the
R2D2,
first weekend. And earlier this month, we set a new
and
record for the
Disney's
highest
just
number
like,
of
yep,
concurrent
we're okay
players
with that
over a
because
2-hour
we
period,
built a
which is
licensing
the
agreement with
strongest performance
Fortnite and
ever
Unreal
achieved
Engine.
by an IP experience in
We're
Fortnite.
allowed to do that.
Looking ahead, our ambition
I
is
can't
to continue
imagine
pushing the
Disney's going to be
boundaries
okay
of
with
what's
that.
possible
I
on
don't
the
know.
platform.
They're
Visual
notorious for
quality
going
and
around
storytelling.
conventions and art
We'll
districts
continue building our
and
own
telling
original
artists,
IP
hey,
while also
you can't
making
sell that
immersive
painting of Mulan.
experiences
You're not allowed to
and
do that.
franchises that inspire us most.
You know?
Thank you.
I get what they're trying to do. Unreal Engine's trying to appeal to developers to bring their games into the Fortnite ecosystem. I get it now. But I can't imagine every IP that they've
Thanks, Kevin, for sharing
signed a
your
deal
story
with
and creative
is going to be
process,
100%
and
okay with
especially
what
for
people
bringing
make.
the Star Wars IP to life in Droid Tycoon in a way that has connected so deeply with fans. Droid Tycoon is
But again,
a
I have to
standout
wonder how many people are actually
representative
playing these things.
of some of the big highlights we had this year in Disney and Fortnite. Let's take a look.
So some of these things look like they're in Fortnite. Other things...
To infinity and beyond.
God, that one fish character, they're in everything.
Behold, giant food from the sky.
I mean, obviously
This
Disney and them would have to
partnership
be
is
okay with
anchored in
some
one
things
conviction.
because there are some
fans
certain
where they are
emotes and dances in
That's
Fortnite
increasingly in games.
that when your character
And it
ends up
extends
in that
beyond
game,
Epic and Disney. Developers, you're
I'm just gonna put it plain, frankly, they're gonna be shaking their ass. They're gonna be shaking their ass on screen. So clearly Disney is okay with at least some of that if they're allowing Epic to put their characters in.
Early
those
in my
games like
game
that.
dev career, my dream was to make games in the Star Wars universe. I was fortunate enough to be able to do that, and it's been a great full circle moment for me personally to see developers experience the thrill of making their own Star Wars games for the first time. What's happened since we launched this IP program has exceeded everything we expected. Star Wars came to UEFN and developers ran with it. Galactic Siege, Escape Vader, Droid Tycoon, all built with tools available to everyone in this room. 8 million players in 72 hours overall. Galactic Siege had 6.5 million players, and Escape Vader had 3.4 million plays in just the first 6 days. And Droid Tycoon became just the first 6 days. And Droid Tycoon became the #2 most played island in Fortnite within a week. All of us at Disney want to congratulate and thank Beyond Creative and Jogo for their contributions on their exemplar island launches, along with Droid Tycoon.
How many people are actually
In the
playing
Mandalorian
Droid
and
Tycoon?
Grogu Watch Party Island,
They keep talking about
fans
it.
were able to watch the first 10 minutes of the film before it ever hit theaters. This is a new model for what studio IP and the creative
It
pipeline
peaked
can
at
look like.
125,000
going beyond
concurrent
IP
players.
access and toward creative continuity and immersion in worlds that feel real.
About 10,000 people on the weekdays.
Star Wars, though, was just one chapter in a year where games meaningfully extended our storytelling. As Percy Jackson returned to Disney Plus for Season 2, Siege of Monsters, created by our friends at Gauntlet, offered a new way to experience that world, while our own Disneyland
Y'all
Game
really
Rush
don't have anything better to talk
translated the energy from Anaheim and Disneyland's 70th anniversary into playable form.
Sure, you're
And
welcome
our
to
Disney, Pixar,
keep promoting
Lucasfilm,
it, but-
20th Century, and Marvel outfit collabs continue to remain amongst the
I guess
most
it is just the
popular
first of
in
many if they're
Fortnite.
looking to expand that ecosystem.
That goes beyond a traditional IP arrangement. It's iconic Disney stories in the hands of more creatives, reaching more fans than ever. And we can't forget our favorite animated family from Springfield, who had one crazy month-long season last year. This season had over 80
I don't think
million
every IP
unique
needs to
players,
be in
with over
Fortnite.
750
I don't think
million
everybody needs
hours
to be in
played.
Fortnite.
The reach speaks for itself. We were so excited to see players come into Springfield, but we've also loved watching citizens of Springfield cross over into parts of UEFN. Let's take a look at some highlights from one of our favorite streamers.
Why'd you say it like that?
Welcome to my channel. Bart-ass reacts to an idiot playing Fortnite. Here's how Homer gets us to school every day. The fat is strong with this one. Hey, look, it's Jurassic Pork. Here's Dad having a meeting with my teacher, Mrs. Krabappel. Here we go, the titanic battle between two
I don't
old
really
men
know
with
who
breathing
this is
problems.
supposed to appeal to.
Okay, dinosaurs and stormtroopers are tough for Dad, but when he's on his home turf in his Springfield Island, he'll probably just choke on his own donut cannon.
"36 years in, The Simpsons still feel like everyone's family. But today, they're finding a new home. We are so excited to announce The Simpsons is joining the IP Partner Program later this year.
So I can make The Simpsons dating sim?
Springfield will be yours. Characters, locations, radioactive waste.
I can date
all
Krusty the
UEFN
Clown?
ready.
Wow.
But hey, be kind to Flanders.
No.
But based on what we've seen, Springfield's in good hands. Thank you to all the amazing developers in this community. We look forward to seeing what you create next. Now back to Epic.
All right, are we finally done with the Fortnite engine?
We went supersonic to right here, right now. It's fitting that at the largest celebration of our game, in front of the greatest fans in the world, we celebrate that history. To all of our friends here in Paris and those watching all around the world,
What is this?
is the future, and this is
Psionics. Oh, it's Rocket League. Okay. Does that mean they moved to Unreal Engine? I guess so. It says new engine. Yippee! Sorry, I don't think I've played Rocket League in like 10 years. I think I played it the first year it came out. I don't really know if people still actively play it other than for competitive.
All right, at the Rocket League competitive series in Paris, we gave the world the first glimpse of Unreal Engine 6. And this is the next step in our mission, to make great games and tools and to share them with you so you can bring your ideas to life. And I'm here to talk to you about what we're building now for the future. Today, things are kind of awkward. There's actually two different ways to build stuff in Unreal. There's building Unreal Engine 5 games for standalone distribution on stores with massive AAA features. And then there's the Unreal Editor for Fortnite feature set and tool set that enables you to build a game once and then deploy it to all platforms live into Fortnite with its 80 million monthly active users. Now, each of them has some really cool, unique features, but is lacking the features of the other one. And so our big initiative to bring them together is the core of the Unreal Engine 6 effort. It's UE5 plus UEFN equals UE6 plus some more cool stuff on the way.
You're just saying a bunch of words.
The vision is that if you build things once the Unreal Engine 6 way, then you can have a game that you can ship everywhere, including the console stores, the PC stores, the mobile stores, and also ship live into the Fortnite ecosystem or any other Unreal Engine 6-based game ecosystem built by any other developer. Now, in prior generations, we put graphics first in leading and announcing our technology. But with the Unreal Engine 6 generation, we're focusing first and foremost on the foundations of the engine to prepare for the next generation of game development and for gaming.
I don't think it's, I'm not commenting on the way he's talking. It's just like
diverse programming language for gameplay development.
Everything that they're saying is like extremely vague and non-specific.
Massive scale code and content.
Except for when they got into the AI, then it was very specific.
Today we have a lot of content interoperability.
It's like they don't want to talk about it.
You go to the Fab content marketplace.
I don't understand. Why wouldn't they want to talk about
cool
it?
Objects you stick in your game.
They should love talking about it.
But then you have to wire them up and make it work yourself. In the Unreal Engine 6 generation, by having a unified set of APIs and a unified language that works everywhere, you'll be able to build smart assets that are completely portable between games and between projects and can be shared at any scale, with the potential to have millions of developers collaborating together on a shared body of work that anybody can use. Another hallmark aim for the Unreal Engine 6 generation is to enable far larger game simulations. You know, the original Battle Royale movie in 1999 that inspired the Battle Royale genre of games, fortunately, just happened to have 100 people dropping onto an island. It's a nice coincidence because that's actually the maximum number of players our code base could support running on a single thread on a server. If they had 1,000 players, we wouldn't have been able to do it. But the goal of Unreal Engine 6 is to introduce software and transactional memory technology, which Curtis Schmidt will talk more about later.
There we go. Now we're getting specific.
In order to enable scaling of games to any amount of computers that can fit into a data center. Hundreds, thousands, potentially even millions in the future. And
don't
this
even
is
talk to me
technology
about
that's in
data
the
centers.
research lab, and the team is working very rapidly to make into a practical shipping system. Another major aim of Unreal Engine 6 is something I first talked about at the SIGGRAPH computer graphics show back in 2016. There I talked about a potential future of gaming as an open system like the web is open, in which any developer can run a server, build a game, host their own content, and the user can go anywhere they want, from place to place, bringing all of their stuff with them, and tearing down the walls and barriers that exist between games to have a completely interoperable ecosystem. And you know, the Rocket League preview of Unreal Engine 6, if you looked at the very last frame of it, there was a little URL bar on top. The URL was verse://rocketleague.com. And we're tantalizingly close now to fully realizing this idea of an open gaming ecosystem with the ability to travel from game to game and independent developer freedom to build everything they want everywhere they go. And our aim at Epic is to work with all developers in the industry to build this system together as peers. We want a system with no overlord. You know, we've been spending some time fighting against overlords in the industry with some amount of success. And we don't want to be the next one.
You want to get specific there, buddy?
A partner to every company in the industry.
Oh. Sorry, I'm playing around in OBS. Sorry for those of you watching the vertical stream. I just messed it up. All right, we're good now. We're good. We're good. We're good. I'm going to stop breaking things. All right, we're finally getting really out of 5.8 and into Unreal Engine 6. Oh man, those are some luscious locks you got there. You mind giving us a hair flip? Oh, the audio's gone?
Cook times will come down.
God, I really did
Iteration
mess it
loops are
up,
getting
huh?
tighter. Mobile
My
is
bad.
increasingly capable. However, we believe for UE6 that there are 3 things about game development that need to change at the same time.
Okay, is it back?
First, gameplay programming needs to get simpler
Oh my
for
God,
creating persistent, live, large-scale worlds. And
I keep
Verse
breaking the
is the foundation
stream.
for Epic's future
I turned on the
programming model.
audio back and
It's
then
a
the video
next-generation
went
language
away.
purpose-built to power massive, persistent game worlds at scale, where global state just works and transactionally correct concurrency is handled by the runtime.
The stream is good.
We've built a modern high-level gameplay framework on top of Verse that gives you a true foundation to build games and experiences easily and to share their interoperable components between games. You'll hear more about our goals and architecture for this programming model from our technical director on the project in a few minutes. But for now, let's talk about the second guiding principle of UE6. Content and code should be portable across games and even engines.
Yes.
Our goal is to give the games industry a whole new way to grow our ecosystems with cross-promotion, portable player value, and to really lean into all the positive sum dynamics that Metcalfe's law predicts for connecting experiences and social graphs together. And we're going to do this with a determined
once
effort
again,
to
you
move
just said a
UE
bunch of
beyond
words.
just extensibility and into open specifications for interoperability.
He literally just said a
Where
bunch of
existing
buzzwords.
standards such as GLTF or USD are capable of fulfilling our needs, we'll make them first-class formats within the engine. And where a standard doesn't yet exist that serves the needs of game ecosystems, we'll open up Unreal's own systems as open specifications with Verse APIs, defined asset conditions, and documentation that any engine, tool, or studio can implement against. And Fortnite Cosmetics will be our first real proof point of portability.
No.
We're going to start by moving the base system to an open UE6 module that's usable by all games. And this means that you'll have the option to use a player's entitled Fortnite outfits in your own games, and you'll get the tools to build outfits for your own games that work inside Fortnite.
So what?
And we're
Like,
tackling
hey,
this problem
you own
first
this outfit
because we
in
wanna prove
Fortnite,
things out with a
therefore you
system
can
that's
own this
complex
outfit
enough
in my
to be
game
a
too?
meaningful existence proof of the idea, and
I
one that
don't know if
inherently
that's a good
comes with
idea.
a ton of player value by respecting their purchases across an interconnected
He said a
ecosystem
bunch of words that I have no idea what it means.
We see this as the
Me
first
neither,
step
bud. Me
towards
neither.
building a shared economy for smart assets. Functional assets with logic and functionality that work across games to recognize players' time and spending in a better way. In the end, this isn't really a Fortnite story. It's just about
It
proving
sure
that
sounds
such
like
a
it.
mature, complex system can work at scale.
Sure
and
sounds
that
like
every
it's a
game that
Fortnite
works
story.
for these systems will immediately benefit from them. Happily, we're taking the first concrete steps to such an open e-system right now. MetaHuman has been adopted by some of the most successful games in the world.
Yep, let's talk about
and
that.
is rapidly becoming a standard for digital characters. And that's why today we're announcing the MetaHuman Dev Kit, opening up our Rig Logic and MetaHuman DNA toolsets under the MIT license so that you can deliver metahumans in any game, any engine, any platform. To learn more, thank you. Yeah. So to learn more, please come to our talk right after this. All right, moving on, no tech presentation would obviously be complete without a conversation about AI. So to get one of the
Okay.
points out of the way, there's some speculation
So
going around that
my interest in MetaHuman, I'm not listening to his AI talk. He can go fuck himself there. The thing about MetaHuman is the tracking system for the face is a little more accurate than the AR kit, which is currently what I use for my face tracking, right? The thing is though, it's really difficult for independent content creators to use because not every system can track it. You need like a special camera that has true depth, like your iPhone, and then it will send that data to your PC and it gets processed there. Up until now, it's basically just been Unreal Engine that processes it. Unity can with certain plugins, but it's not native. But the big thing is that the reason VTubers use the AR kit. Now let's talk about AI. Fuck off. But the reason we use the AR kit, which is the iPhone's, Apple's face tracking system, is because we can do it on the iPhone. There's no easily accessible way for a VTuber to get a hold of the MetaHuman tracking system. Unless you're getting something like the Rococo Cam, which is like the cost of an iPhone. But that also takes a licensing fee to use the Rococo software. So it's really not worth it. But if they're opening up MetaHuman to work with other engines and other pieces of software, that makes me wonder if maybe in the next couple years we'll see something more accessible come out for VTubers to be able to use it for face tracking. And so maybe we'll see people using the MetaHuman face tracking system instead of the AR kit. It's possible. As I said before, mass consumer. Yes, yes, yes. Mass consumerism. We love that here. Yes.
So you can expect Unreal Engine 6 to include all the key learnings for using AI.
He's still talking about it. Oh my god.
So
I don't understand.
lots of questions about the transition from UE5 to UE6.
Actual developers are not looking at AI and going, ah, yes, this is going to improve my workflow.
UE5 for high-end standalone game and content development, and Unreal Editor for Fortnite as the live environment where our new programming model is getting battle tested. UE6 will combine these two products into one. As UE5 and UEFN merge into one editor, you will be able to ship traditional games and projects exactly as you do today. You'll be able to ship directly in Fortnite, or ship your own ecosystem and optionally make it compatible with ours. You'll have an easy path from
I
one
swear to God,
the
these companies will end up making us
Actors and
VTubers pay a
blueprints
regular fee to
will
use that
be
shit.
in early versions of
Yeah,
UE6.
probably. They're probably
Eventually,
going to
these
make
will
us
be
pay a
deprecated when the
licensing
new
fee
framework is
because people
sufficiently
just can't
mature,
help themselves.
And you'll have conversion tools to move
But here's the
projects
thing.
from one framework to the other.
People don't make
Also,
things for
the new
content
UE6
creators and for
mainstream will be on
VTubers.
GitHub
We are
later
such
today,
a niche,
publicly
nobody
visible,
makes things
just like the
for
UE5
us.
stream has always been.
Nobody makes
Any
things
remaining
for
UE5
us.
changes will merge to UE6 to not get lost.
My hope
but
is
not
that
vice
it's
versa.
something that just becomes
And in
commercially
addition,
available
Fortnite
that then we can
development will be
adopt
attached
and
to
use
the
for our
UE6
own
stream,
stuff.
so
We
you
are
can
just
see
way
all
too
of our
niche.
ongoing work live
We're such a
and cherry
small
pick any
group
changes as needed.
that nobody's going to
However,
want
this
to
stream
make
is
things
not
just for
meant
us.
to be
It's
an
not a
active
good business
alpha.
model.
It exists just to be transparent.
Not a
with
good
where we're
business
going.
model.
And while we're not currently planning another official UE5
It'll be
release
accessible,
after
but it'll be
5.8,
behind a paywall. Well,
we do
everything
reserve the
is.
right to,
Any kind of
to ship a
camera
5.9
or
if needed.
technology or things like that is going to be behind a paywall.
You never know.
I just don't want it to be
so when you
behind
can
a
get your hands on
subscription.
UE6? We plan
That's
to
the
release
problem.
in early access at the end of 2027-ish. We know how game dev works around here.
At least they're honest about that.
However, Epic will be shipping things on the tech stack ahead of the early access release, just to make sure we get it right. 6.0 will be released 12 to 18 months following the early access release, and we expect just about everyone should be able to move their projects to 6.0, as it will still have all of the mainline UE5 tech, except for Cascade.
It depends if they somehow make it work with the backing of VTuber companies like, say, Hololive, probably.
That said,
so there
will be
are
taking the opportunity
actually
to make some big
companies that do
architectural and
work with
other-breaking
groups
changes
like
that we
Hololive. The
wouldn't normally do
problem
in one
is
release,
a lot of
so
that
you can
tech
expect a
is then
similar upgrade path
proprietary.
from UE5 to
Because like
6,
companies, like let's
as we
say a
had
company
for,
does get to work with Hololive.
We'll keep
Hololive
everyone
is then
up to
going to
date
say,
on our
look, we
progress as
invested all
development
this money.
continues, and now
We're going to
Curtis
keep
is
it for
gonna come up
ourselves.
and give us a more detailed breakdown of the gameplay architecture.
Or they're going to charge everybody else a premium to use it. I don't know. I don't see that going well, or let alone free. I just don't see that.
Thanks, Marcus, and good morning, everyone. I'm Curtis. I work on the gameplay architecture in Unreal Engine, and today I'm excited to talk to you about the new gameplay framework for UE6, which begins with Verse. Now, Verse is a next-generation programming language, purpose-built to power massive, persistent game worlds at scale.
A
We
new
originally
programming
released it
language?
3 years ago in UEFN, where we could grow it to become the foundation for UE6. And Verse draws ideas from functional, logic, and imperative languages, and it should feel immediately familiar to anyone who's worked in languages like C# or Python before. But it also has some unique features aimed at solving the complexity and scaling problems of modern game development, starting with this unique software transactional memory model, or STM. Now, all functions in Verse run as part of atomic transactions.
Oh God, okay, we're going into programming shit that's way beyond me.
This
Oh
lets us do a lot of
God.
interesting things in our game's code.
Let's play a
For
drinking
example,
game. Well, I'll
to check
drink
if an
water.
object can be successfully moved
Every
in the
time
world,
AI is mentioned, we
can
take a
simply
shot.
set its position,
Sure, I'll take a shot of water.
Then do our spatial queries to see if it's hitting anything. If it is, we abandon the entire transaction, reverting the entire operation, and pretending the code never ran at all. Now, Verse's transactional memory model can also help us address another big problem in game development, building enormous worlds with larger player counts.
Yeah, I don't drink
Today,
anymore,
one of the
so
big
no
limiters
alcohol
to really
today. It's also
building
like
larger
8 in the
games
morning,
comes
or
down
it's
to
like
server technology.
10 in the morning at this
Scaling a
point.
game to run on multiple
And I'm
servers
lost. Welcome
requires
in,
a fundamental
Taki.
rethinking
Welcome
of your entire
in.
game's architecture.
Welcome into the morning stream, and welcome
With UE6,
Ruby.
we're
Welcome,
working to build
welcome.
a full
We are watching the
distributed
state of
software
Unreal
transactional
Engine.
memory
They're talking
system
about
to
Unreal Engine 6,
Here's the idea.
and he
We
started
take
getting
your
into
existing
coding, which is
single-threaded style verse
way
game
out of
code,
my ballpark.
and then we distribute it across multiple servers. When an object's needed in
Fucking
one
dies
server,
in the 10 minutes of the tech
verse
talk.
runtime
Yeah, they
rolls
are
back
they
the
are
current
heavily pushing
migrates the
AI in
object
this
over
in
to
this
the server,
particular state of
and
the
then
Unreal.
reruns the transaction
I don't know
with the
why.
object now present.
I don't know
This
why.
is all done in a way that
Actual
retains
game
the
developers
transactional
don't want to use
consistency
it
of the original program.
because AI,
Finally, with Verse,
when
we
it
wanted
does
to
the
make
work
saving
for you,
game data
causes
way
more
simpler.
problems than if you
Verse
just did
runtime
it
can
yourself.
automatically
And so they're like,
synchronize
yes,
and save
this will
any
solve
global
your
state from the
pipeline. This will
program
do in
and
a
share it
day
across
what'll
all
take
running
months.
instances of your
And
game
it's like,
or an
no,
ecosystem.
it'll do it in a day, and then I'll
Programmer, what
spend
this
months
means is that
fixing
setting
it.
up something like save state for
It's
a player
different.
is as simple as setting a
Shareholders?
single global map
Does
of
Epic
player
have
to save state.
shareholders?
No more having to set up databases or coordinate schemas between your
Is
game
Epic
and other
publicly
backend
traded?
services. You can
No,
do
it is
all of
not.
this
Epic's
without
not
ever
publicly
leaving
traded,
Verse.
so they shouldn't have shareholders.
Now let's take a look at how Verse fits into the bigger UE6 gameplay architecture.
Well, they might be
So at the foundational level, we
privately.
have the Verse runtime.
No, it's a
along with
no
all the UE
IPO.
systems that exist today.
It's
like
not an IPO.
rendering, chaos physics, meta sounds. With Verse, we're also introducing the Verse scene graph framework.
Yeah, it's still
This is a
absolutely
modern game
private.
component
So I don't
framework
know if they
with full
have
support
any
for prefab-style
shareholders
workflows and runtime composition.
to please
graph has
here,
been
but
designed to
it's
utilize
entirely
all the
possible
power
the
of the Verse
CEO of
language,
Epic is
including
sitting here
modeling
going,
the entire programming data
AI,
model
AI,
from Verse
AI,
instances.
because they're a CEO, and you know
Above
that's what
this,
every CEO is
every
pushing.
core system in the engine is exposed as concrete Verse objects. Each material,
I don't think it's
mesh,
public, but if I
Niagara
recall correctly, they're
system that
partly
you
owned by
author
Tense.
becomes a type of Verse
No.
class with a
Are
statically
they?
validatable API. This lets us use the Verse compiler to validate all of our data in a unified manner across
Who
the
owns
entire
Epic
engine.
Games?
For example, if you change a parameter in a particle
Tim
system,
Sweeney, the
you'll
CEO,
immediately know where
holds
in code
the
needs to be
majority
updated
stake.
to match. And
The
finally,
remaining
we'll be
equity is
introducing
split among
high-level
several
frameworks for
corporate
common game
stakeholders,
systems like
with the
characters,
Chinese
weapons, and
technology
vehicles.
conglomerate
Now,
Tencent
building with these frameworks helps
serving
speed
as
up
the
development,
largest
but it also creates
outside
content that can be shared
shareholder.
widely across games and
They
ecosystems.
hold
So
48%.
imagine grabbing a car from Fab, and instead of simply getting a skeletal mesh and some animations like you might today, you get a fully working Verse module. For a
Okay,
car
never mind. That
functions
explains a
across
lot,
all of
though.
your
That
games.
explains a lot.
With the UE6 gameplay framework, we're envisioning a world where enormous amounts of code and content is being built and shared
Tencent owns
between these
48%.
projects.
That explains
With
the heavy
Verse
push for
providing
AI.
strong backwards
Okay,
compatibility
I get it.
guarantees
I
to
get
help
it.
the ecosystem grow sustainably.
How close am I to see ads in
Of course,
games I
we'll need
paid
a place
for?
to store all this code and data, and here to talk about that is Matthias.
Much closer than you think. Much closer than you think. Xbox already wanted to do that before the new CEO of Xbox took over. The old CEO wanted to put that in Xbox Games Pass, where you had to watch ads in between games,
And I'm here to talk about our
or like
version
in the
control
middle of your
system
game. So
Lore.
like it would pause Halo, and then just play an
we
ad.
continue to scale our platforms and services, we run into many challenges when it comes to data storage and version control. We need something that can
According to
handle
Wikipedia,
large binary data
Tencent
sets,
owns
scale easily across the globe, and
48.4%
provide secure data isolation in a shared
of
multi-tenant
outstanding stake, equating
We
to
also
a
need to make it easy
40%
to
total.
use
Oh, so I guess
for
they got.
everyone, not just
Okay.
programmers.
I'm gonna go into some law
looked
here
at
while they're
available
talking about
tools
programming.
and
So
came to the conclusion that none had everything
the
we
way
needed
shareholding and and stocks work is you have two types, Class A and Class B. Class A are voting shares. Class B is just profit shares. you don't vote. So when somebody publicly sells or publicly trades a company, that is Class B. There will always be Class A that is usually privately sold to people who have voting rights. But it looks like Tencent owns total stake of 48.4%. But the total between Class A and B is up to 40, which means they own some voting stock.
Scalability and performance core tenets from day one.
That's how I'm interpreting
this. Most of Lore's technical innovation lives. It combines an efficient large asset handling with a free branching model, so teams can iterate quickly without sacrificing workflow flexibility or storage efficiency. And Lore will grow with you, from a zero-config single service setup for small teams, all the way to multi-region, multi-million user deployments like UEFN, without requiring your team to fundamentally change how you work.
Yeah.
At the heart of Lore is an efficient content address.
It looks like they started out at about the 10% mark, so you weren't entirely wrong.
Is identified by what it contains, not where it lives. Identical pieces of data are only stored once. Lore gives you direct access to that storage platform, so you can build your own applications and pipelines on top of it. Lore's version control
Still a rather large chunk. Yeah. Yeah.
On
I mean, the majority stake by Tim Sweeney is just over 50%. It just has to be over 50%. So they are the next closest, if that's the case.
Binary-first storage architecture.
Why can't we just go back to trading rice grains? Fuck it, let's just go back to barter trading. Hey man, I'll give you my copy of Ninja Gaiden for your copy of Halo Infinite. No man, that's not a worthy trade. No dude, this is Ninja Gaiden Black. This is the good version. You gotta have this.
Data transfer of any file.
I think we can still do that. We can still barter games. Honestly, if Steam built it into their store, I'd be sold. I'd 100% barter games with my friends.
Add layers of additional servers.
I'll give you my copy of Super Meat Boy if you give me your copy of
durable global store. And because
fuck, what's in their Flash game? The
The
Binding of Isaac.
At every layer, that scale never comes at the cost of control. Every server enforces the same access policies.
I have a button. Can I barter a shiny rock from you? That'll be 7 buttons. Thank you very much. This is a very valuable shiny rock.
The source of truth is never the bottleneck. Everything Lore does, data storage, version control, is exposed through a single complete API. And on top of that API, we built the tools you would expect. Command line interface, a desktop application.
Oh, Jesus Christ, I do not understand a single bit of that.
In Unreal Editor. And these tools are all built on the same API and library.
Cool.
This API-first design makes Lore easy to extend and integrate into any development pipeline.
Wow.
Your tools and applications can
amazing.
Easily use Lore through the API in the language you want to use. Though we're just scratching the surface here. I hope this gives you a sense of the power.
Oh, you fell back into economy? No, that's still bartering.
It's already used in production environments. It powers the UEFN
you value the item of one object to the value of another.
Now as Unreal Revision Control, providing.
Did you start valuing how much a button would be worth to your shiny rock? Pipeline. Yeah, you always do that.
We have already started
that is just part of bartering.
To use Lore as the primary version control system for development within Epic.
Bartering's not just a straight trade 1-1. Always.
We built Lore to address.
Like, hey, I'm giving you a pound of rice.
We have at Epic.
How many apples can you give me?
Many of you, we heard similar challenges echoed across the industry.
Like, that pound is not going to be worth a pound of apples. Because a pound of apples won't go very far. But a pound of rice? You can make a pound of rice go pretty far.
Then a system shaped behind closed doors would fall short. And that's why we're announcing Lore as open source today.
Actually, isn't a pound of apples just like 2 apples? If that's the case, if a pound of apples is like 2 apples, that would not go very far at all.
All the source code, along with documentation of data formats and protocols, are now
open source,
permissively licensed under an MIT license and free to use.
That's a W for
this
MIT.
Shouldn't be viewed as a perfect or complete package, but as an invitation to
I
you.
will trade my
to
nuclear
extend it,
warhead for your
challenge it,
shiny
and
rock.
help shape it into something
I'll
even more
accept.
powerful together.
Yeah, you can have the shiny rock. I'll
So,
take your nuclear warhead.
If you're
Thank you very
interested
much.
in learning more, head to lore.org and come to my session later in the show. For a
Oh,
deep
but
dive
dang, your
discussion
trade doesn't
on
include the
Lore's
launch
architecture.
codes.
And with that,
Dang, so I only
I
get
will
the
hand it back
warhead.
to Tim.
That's okay. I'm sure I could take it apart and decommission it and sell it for a profit. I'll sell the fuel rods.
Awesome. So that is the first two of our next generation.
Also, now I'm
permissively
looking at his
licensed
picture.
open
That
source
is
releases, and the first of many to come as we go about building more and more standards for
Sweeney.
interoperability for the future of gaming. And now I'd like to go and talk about the game business, which is
I hear shiny rock, and I
both
think
crisis and
uranium
also opportunity.
238 from
On
Factorio.
the upside, there's a new generation of gamers coming in with new tastes in games.
Honestly, that
and
may
they're
be
playing
the
games
shiny
at an
rock. That's
entire
why it's so
rate than
valuable. That's
any
why I don't want to
previous
trade it for a
generation
single
before.
button.
And the biggest
And
games
we
like
had
Fortnite are once
trinket
again
trading.
growing and thriving. But underneath this, there's a serious
Look, just as a
challenge
reminder, the
to
bartering
AAA
system is
developers,
how
and that's
the
that
Native
a huge
Americans
number of the
sold
new
their land
releases of major games
to
are
the
failing
colonials.
now. We're
Just
seeing
as a
often
reminder.
hundreds of millions of dollars of dev
They
costs,
sold the
followed
they
by
sold the
tens of millions of
entire
dollars
island of Manhattan
revenue, and the
for
dev costs
a bunch of
are
rocks.
continuing to grow. It feels to many like a tidal wave is sweeping over the AAA.
And then
game
they sold
business.
Louisiana for guess
I'd
what?
like to back up. Everybody has
A
their
bunch of
theory for
rocks.
why this is happening, but I'd like to back up and identify the key generational changes and trends that are. that are
Bartering's
behind
not
us.
always a good thing.
And because if we want to come up with an honest solution, we have
Although-
to accurately identify the problem.
Shit, I forget.
And
Y'all
key-
probably didn't
one of the
have
key trends is that
any
gaming is increasingly
American
becoming socially
history.
driven.
But yeah, Native Americans
In the old days,
sold
it
their
was,
land
you
for
decide to play a game, you download it, you may play it by
basically
yourself, or maybe
pebbles.
play multiplayer with whatever.
A bunch of
strangers
shiny
show up.
rocks.
Nowadays, it's much more about you getting together with your friends and then deciding
Buck
what
trade,
to do
I
together
like my
online,
rice, I grow my
to play a
own.
game or experience.
Honestly,
and this social.
We've got the open
increasing angle of
land
gaming
all
is-
across the
is
world. There's a lot of unused land.
creating a massive
It's just we
advantage
like being
for
together
big games
because
and big
if you spend all your
ecosystems,
time growing
because
rice,
game with a lot of players
will you
is
like
much more
somebody else
likely to
providing your
contain a lot
clothes
of your
for you?
friends.
You
and
know?
a long-established game with a huge player base has a
It's
much
tough to be
easier
fully
job of retaining
self-sufficient.
players than a new game has of attracting
Need
new
space.
players.
Need
You know,
lots of
thus
land to
we've
grow
seen a
rice.
lot of the major
Rice
new
especially
multiplayer
takes a lot of land to
games
grow.
not gain a sufficient community and momentum to survive, though in the past they might have. The other big change that's affecting gaming is that the economy is shifting from buying games to buying things in games.
Don't know if that's better or worse
And,
compared to
whether you're a
British
fan of
settlers
this or
just
not,
taking land
the
from the
arithmetic of it is
Aboriginals.
undeniable. And this is another thing that
Ooh.
reinforces the success of very large.
Probably
existing
about on the same
ecosystems of
level, I
games,
think.
and makes it ever harder for new
Because
entrants
when
to
the
get in.
Americans,
and that is if you,
when both
you've been playing a game
couldn't
for a long
get
time
the
and
land,
it's a huge player base, then
they
you can
turned
buy
to
with
violence.
confidence
When they
and
couldn't get it
things
through
you
other means, they
purchase
just turned to
will still be
violence.
useful to you days, weeks, years later. Whereas when a new game
Not to
comes
mention
out,
all the
it's a
diseases that
much
those
more
people
difficult decision
typically
to
brought
spend.
with them.
You're not sure if you're going to play it next day, next week, next month, and are much
And they knew
less
that was a
likely to
risk.
spend.
They knew that was a risk. They're like, yeah,
And
we
the
don't
final
care.
trend that's affecting gaming is that the market for players' attention has become extraordinarily competitive, more so than I've ever seen before in my lifetime when we were competing with, lame television and other things that trend almost into vice.
What
all
was that?
competing for people's times, all very effectively. And so
You just skipped ahead. What was that?
And so,
did he say something they wanted to cut
overcome
out?
these trends, the game industry, whether we like it or not, is reorganizing itself. And there are kind of two big predictions for
What
the
did he
future.
do? Did he drop the N-word
as
or
these
something?
problems
Like, why'd
reverberate
you skip
throughout
ahead
the
like that?
industry.
I felt like you skipped ahead a full 5
One
seconds.
view of the future is that Roblox
Meanwhile,
grows
all that
and
world
eats
history
gaming.
was happening. My ancestors were just busy fucking themselves and unfucking themselves.
A lot of people are saying this online. But what you have there is a centralized platform with a single gatekeeper.
I don't. There was
commoditizes all content.
I don't. There was
takes more
much.
than 70%
I doubt
of
there was
revenue,
much
and
negotiation with
has
the Aboriginals back in the
450 million
1700s
users
and
on board.
1800s. The negotiation was probably,
that's
hey,
a real challenge
give us your
for game
land.
developers.
No.
But we believe in a very different
Okay.
future, and a much brighter one for the people in this room, and that is that a future of high-quality gaming.
That was probably the
rising to
negotiation.
challenge, and
It's just,
linking
hey,
up our content,
we are
linking up our
obligated by the
communities,
British
linking up our
colonial charter
economies
to
deliver
ask
fun and to
for
serve
your land
gamers
first.
with great
Will you give us
games
your land?
in a way we've never done before.
No.
And to accomplish
Okay.
that, we're going to All
Off
need
to
change
violence
the
we
way
go.
build things. We're going to need to build better games. We're going to need to build them more efficiently. And we're going to need to design up front and build for connected games, where all of our player bases are connected socially and our economies
Oh, there
are
were no
connected, so that players instead
Yeah,
of
you're right.
seeing
It
these
was
as
more.
isolated products,
It was
see them
single
as part
shot,
of,
so really
you know,
just
a global
just crank the
ecosystem
hammer
that
back.
all game developers participate in
Musket's
together.
already preloaded.
You know, we want to work with all of you and with all of the game developers in the industry to achieve this together. The things we built with Unreal Engine 6 are our technological foundation.
Well,
for
also
it.
another thing that they did, British
we believe that this is a
colonials,
big
when they
challenge
wanted
we
to
all
take
have to
land
rise
pretty
to.
much
We
anywhere,
need to win
if it was a
the
forested
competition for
area,
players' time, not
sometimes
only
they would
against
just
other
set fire to
games,
the place.
but also against YouTube and TikTok.
Because
and
they
everything
knew
else that
eventually the
people are doing
forest would grow
online.
back, but it would
And
drive
this
those
was
people
very
out.
much on our minds when we set out about building Unreal Engine 6.
So
And it's also what was on the
that was
minds
also
of
a
really
tactic.
close partners like Disney and Lego and other AAA game
You're welcome for that
developers,
history.
when we've been building increasingly close partnerships to them to build this together.
Sometimes
You
it's
know,
always good to remind the
and,
Brits that they
it's
weren't
very
exactly
clear,
always
Fortnite,
good.
80 million monthly active users. That's quite a lot, but we realize
Basically,
that this
Chinese
is not
history,
enough,
fuckery, and
for Epic to do it
unfuckery.
alone.
The number of times China
To
has
do,
fractured
to
is
build the ecosystem of
insane.
the future, we're going to have to build it
Insane.
together. And
In fact, I
the
think
thesis for
this
that
may
is
be the
very,
longest period that it's held
optimistic
itself
that,
together.
between all
Well,
of us and the world's best games,
depends
many of
on
which,
how
you
you
which use
look at
Unreal
Taiwan,
Engine,
I suppose.
And many of whose developers use Unreal Engine and many projects. We
Really
have
depends.
Billions of
Really
active
depends.
users.
But I
And
think
so we
this
have
is
the
the longest
opportunity to
period in
form up
history
and
where
to
China has
team
actually held
open
itself together
and
without
to define the
fracturing.
future
I
of
could be
gaming
wrong. I
together
could be wrong.
Again. And that's exactly what we want to accomplish in this generation together with you. So that's what we're doing. Thank you very much for coming here to Unreal Fest. And remember, where else in the world can Fortnite creators get together with AAA game developers and filmmakers and architects and car designers and people at Lockheed Martin who are designing things they're not even allowed to talk about here, and actually speak the same
Lockheed
language,
can't talk about
the language
shit.
of Unreal and content and code and development. So I hope you have a great time and have a
Have
great
you seen
opportunity to
fires
meet
down
up with
here?
lots of
I've seen
people.
videos.
Thank you very much.
Y'all's fires get insane. Your wildfires. Like California thinks they got their wildfires bad. They got nothing on y'all. All right. Ah, god damn, they push so much AI. Don't get me wrong, I am happy for all the graphical optimizations they talked about, but damn. Oh my god. Yes, it is. You know why? Because Chinese people are pretty, I hate you, so fuck off. And then we have the occasional emotionally mature guy who's like, can we stop for a minute? And then when that guy dies, it happens all over again. Yeah, that makes sense. Lockheed Martin, a military industrial complex company. Yep. From what I understood from the earlier part of their talk, there's a lot of people using Unreal Engine to run simulations of like workflow pipelines and tech pipelines, like industry stuff. Like rather than go ahead and build the whole factory manufacturing chips and waiting for a safety issue to happen, let's go ahead and run a simulation and see what those safety issues would be. And so that's probably what Lockheed's doing, and also maybe physics simulations as well. Unreal Engine's pretty good at that. But yeah, Lockheed isn't only military industrial. They're an aerospace company, but yeah, they do have a massive government contract. So they are military industrial complex, but that isn't the only thing they do. Basically plain satisfactory, basically. Except it's mostly automated because it's just looking for issues. You're not trying to discover if it's a good idea making the thing. You're just seeing, hey, what safety issues and what pipeline issues are going to happen when we start making the thing. But yeah, they work on some very, very secret stuff. Not only because like, oh, we got a government contract with the military. It's also because their stuff is so incredibly valuable. Like, let's say they were just developing a new jet engine, right? Or a new rocket engine. That rocket engine could be sold to SpaceX for an incredible amount of money. And if that were found out about and that were stolen, well, now they've just lost hundreds of billions of dollars worth of product just from one guy accidentally talking about it at a conference. So, it was a pleasant surprise to catch you streaming tonight, though. Well, it's the morning for me. But yes, I had today off, and I figured, you know what? I'm gonna do a watch long stream because I never do this. I've never done this kind of thing. But if I want to do streaming of like conventions and stuff like that, I probably should get used to this kind of content, you know? So I figured this was a good chance to do it. But I am disappointed there was such a heavy push for AI, but I am very happy that there were so many graphical optimizations being pushed here. That was a huge thing that people have been asking for. So half of it we have been asking for, the other half we have definitely not been asking for, but we got anyway. So it's technically still morning for me, but it's dark out. Oh, so it's like the early AM, early. Oh man. I just had a thought of a dude cutely saying, "Yay, I made a thing! Oh fuck, I made a thing!" Yeah, that is sometimes what people do in the military industrial complex. They say, "Uh-oh, I made a thing. Help." That's why you gotta be careful when you got those contracts. It's kind of like ChatGPT taking the government contract when Anthropic said, "Yeah, no, I don't want to work for the American government if you're going to use my AI for autonomous, murder machines. I'm not okay with that." And ChatGPT, Sam Goldman, was just like, "Oh, fuck yeah, get me in on that shit." Eventually, he's going to look at this and say, "Oh, I am now going to be remembered as the man who made autonomous drones that mass murdered millions. Cool, that's my legacy now. Oh no, I made a thing." God, he is so desperate for money. He is like $200 billion in debt. But man, he is way too desperate for money. He will take any contract. Wasn't those contracts for surveillance? Part of it was for surveillance. So the contract that was offered to Anthropic, well, Anthropic already had the contract, but basically the Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, was like, "Hey, I want to increase the availability of your AI, of Claude, to be used for mass surveillance of the American population, and also to be put into our drones for autonomous operation." In other words, a drone could fly over and kill somebody on its own without any human interaction. And Anthropic said no. So part of it was surveillance. The other part of it was warfare. Which the American military has no business in domestic surveillance. We have no reason to do that whatsoever. We have agencies that do that. That's what the NSA does. That's what the NSA is for. In the words of Oppenheimer, "Oh fuck, I am become destroyer of worlds." Controlling freedom and death. Great, yeah. Here's the thing, like, we have the NSA. That's all the NSA does, is domestic surveillance of the American people. They already do that. There is zero reason for the American military, the Department of Defense, to be doing it. And I have a suspicion that political reasons are probably at play there, because maybe the director of the NSA is not willing to use AI for that. And so maybe Hegseth thought he should step on that and try and get that going. I don't know. I don't know what the play is. I really don't. But whatever. I do look, I'm in the military. I deal with politics every day in my real job. It's fucked no matter how you look at it. But I was hoping at the very least we could escape AI in my gaming engine. Jesus. Can we keep AI away from government, period? Can we just destroy AI? Can we take the Dune approach? No AI? None? No artificial intelligence? Just not do that? Please? Please? I don't think we should. We can just get rid of all of it. Only if the corporations would agree. They would never do that. They're the ones pushing for it. That's how we know it's used for evil. If it were little Timmy over here with his like snack machine, and he's like, I want to use AI to improve the snack machine, I'd believe AI was being used for good. But he's not the one promoting it. The people promoting it are like Jeff Bezos and, you know, it's just a bunch of corporate shitheads at the very top. Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, these are the people really pushing for AI. That's how you know it's being used for evil. They don't have any intention of using it for good. No. No. They don't care about you. They care about them. They're chasing that bag. They want to make sure that they can use AI forever to endlessly control us and make sure we always purchase their product. Have y'all played, oh fuck, what's that rhythm anime game? Fuck, what's it called? Hi-Fi Rush. Have y'all played Hi-Fi Rush? Do you know what I'm talking about? No, little Timmy, don't use AI.
Oh my god, I'm gonna get generated AI art and call it mine.
No, little Timmy, don't do that. That's big corpo trying to kill artists because they think art is too expensive and they want it cheaper. So Hi-Fi Rush, the whole story there is basically the corporate guy. Hi-Fi Rush, is that actually considered anime? It's an anime / comic styled game. But yes, it is an anime-esque adjacent styling. They the whole plot line is basically there's this huge tech company, and this guy takes it over from his parents, and he decides he's going to create a new AI chip, and he's going to install it in everybody's cybernetics. The thing is, this AI chip, it's supposed to mind control people to purchase more of his products endlessly. Endless consumerism through mind control. That's all they're doing. It's just less advanced. They're not going to put an AI chip in our brain. They're going to put it in every piece of technology we touch so that we just endlessly get marketed products that are specifically for us and will always have AI. Like, also, they're using AI in grocery stores. You want to know how they're using it? To monitor you and then price things based on what you are willing to pay. So Jimmy over here, he's only willing to pay $3 for those apples. But you, well, you're going to pay $5. Not because you're rich. You're actually you're less wealthy than Jimmy. But the reason you're willing to pay $5 is because you are so sick and tired of shopping for apples, you're just going to buy them and move on. And just accept it. Oh, and by the way, I saw, mass consumerism. I saw footage. This was on Reddit. Somebody found out when they got promoted to assistant manager of a coffee shop that their own manager was apparently using the security camera in the coffee shop with some kind of AI company to monitor everybody. And it had little boxes around every employee that showed how many cups of coffee that person had made that shift. How long they had been on break. How long they had been playing on their phone. How long they had been chatting with people. How long they had just been standing around. And it was also tracking customers. How many things have they ordered? What were their typical orders? How long have they been sitting in the coffee shop? Were they using chargers? Were they on their laptop? Were they hooked up to the Wi-Fi? All in just like a single screenshot on the screen, and it was playing like a video. And I'm sitting here going, holy fuck, everybody who walks in that coffee shop's being tracked. For what purpose? Why would you need to do that? Why? Who needs to do that? Who needs to track people to that extent? And here's the thing. What happened to just cute coffee shops that just chill? I know. What? That contract, whatever you're paying for that AI service must be insane, right? Here's the thing. The people behind the counter making your coffee, they're probably minimum wage. They're probably minimum wage. They're making probably like $8 an hour. Do you really need to track how many cups of coffee they're making, how much they're slacking? Because here's the thing, you want to stop people from slacking at work? Let me tell you a trick. Let me teach you something. Pay them more. Yeah. Turns out, when you pay people more money, they tend to work harder and more efficiently and better. They take less breaks. Oh my God, no way, right? As the average human are doomed. No kidding. No kidding. AI is being pushed by the worst people, and we're just little jimmies. We're stuck here. We got no way out. We're just living here. We're going through it. Did Markiplier say that once? Probably. Probably the average humans are doomed. For the creation of Iron Lung? He might have. He might have. I think he did, because he was mentioning like how difficult it was to actually get the film published after he made it, because everybody was like, well, you got to go through a company to do it. And he's like, no, I'm just me. I'm just trying to publish it. And so the average person is kind of doomed. God, did not think I'd be falling back into a doomer mindset again tonight. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. We'll stop the doomer mindset. Look, the future of Unreal Engine's looking pretty good overall. I don't think anybody's actually going to touch those AI things. Like, they put them in there. I don't think anybody's actually going to use them, seriously. I really don't. Any game development company that has actually touched AI and tried to implement it in its workflow has ended up going, yeah, no, this fucking sucks. It ends up creating more work than anything. It doesn't save us time. It creates time. It makes more work. It's horrible. So I don't know if anybody's actually going to use it. The good things, though, are the optimizations. The graphical optimizations for the megalights, that's impressive. If it actually works as advertised, that is impressive. However, I am willing to bet you that there are some caveats with that. So we're going to have to wait and see with 5.8, the games that come out and use it, and also in Unreal Engine 6, the games that use the megalights, how well optimized they actually are. Yeah, an interviewer was asking about it and saying, I heard you had a new business model, and Markiplier just says, yeah, it's called I give them bonuses. Yeah, he did pay his people pretty well. He did. He has a habit of doing that for pretty much all his productions. Yeah, AI is just, let me make you some trash. Do it with you what you will. Cool. I will throw it in the trash. That's what I plan to do with AI. Trash. Let some raccoons eat it. Let the trash pandas have it. All right, well, I didn't really have much planned today other than just doing a watch along for that. And that went on a while longer than I thought it was. I thought it was only going to be like an hour, but it was actually quite a bit. It was actually over 2 hours. Well, about 2 hours, actually. So honestly, not bad. Honestly, not bad. I'm going to see if we've got any friends to raid, any new people. I have been watching some VTubers who do during the day, who stream during the day that we might raid. You like doing the watch along? I think so. I understand how to do it now, which means if I were to do a live stream of a convention, I think I've got a better handle on it. Because that was the thing. I didn't want to jump into streaming a convention virtually if I didn't know exactly how to do a watch along or react stream. I've never done react content. Never done that. Never done that. Okay, I ain't defending the AI, but I think the main purpose was to be that AI was to be the basic framework, not doing the whole fucking thing. I would agree with you until they implemented Claude Code directly into it. The API communicates directly to Claude Code, which means it can code. It can do the programming for you. They, like, early in the presentation when he's like, yeah, I asked the AI to build me this scene and then rough it out for storyboarding, he could have stopped right there. He could have stopped right there. But then he was taking a tire and having it AI generate textures and then generate a 3D model. And I'm sitting here going, bro, just stop, just stop, just stop, just stop. So they started somewhere decent, but then they took it way too far. I might be doing my own watch along again, but sometime next month. Final Fantasy XIV has its next fan fest soon. Oh, okay. That sounds like a lot of fun. Yeah, you should totally do that. You 100% should do that. All right. Let me see. This is going to be rating to somebody that I've never rated. That person just started streaming. This person's been going for a couple hours. How funny would it be if I raided into another Deeja Vu? How funny would that be? Well, technically her name is Deja Vu D. But I don't want to raid y'all into a starting soon screen. Her starting soon screens last like 15 minutes and she just got started like 5 minutes ago. I'll raid into somebody who's actually streaming. Give y'all something to watch. Okay. Let me see. Between these two. Yeah, we're gonna raid into Kumiko. She is another VTuber. Looks like she's playing some Minecraft right now. And also she's got a lore video out if you want to check out her channel and see her other content. She's really funny, and I mean, I think she's an artist. I think she made her own model. I think. Yeah, I think she made her own model. She is an artist. I just don't know what all she made for her own stream, but very stylized. I recommend checking out her art. So I'm going to go ahead and leave you with them. Go ahead and check them out. They're really funny. But they're just doing some chill Minecraft stuff right now. So sounds like a good way to spend the day. Go ahead and sit back and chill. Let's go ahead and click that raid button. But thank you both for joining me. Thank you everybody who popped in and said hello. Hope you all have a wonderful day. And I know it's not usual for me to stream on a Wednesday at this time, but I figured it was a good chance to try it out. Just as a reminder, next week we will be moving to the new schedule of Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday streams. So keep an eye out for that. But otherwise, this week we will still have the Thursday and Saturday stream. So I will be back tomorrow at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. And, well, if we're doing a collab for Far Far West, I will be playing that. But otherwise, if we're not, I got a horror game in mind to play that I'm pretty excited for. It's a Next Fest game, if you're interested. But that's all I got. Thank you all so much, and I'll see you then. Adios!